Started right now. We about to start it. All right, let's go.
All right.
What's good? What's good? What's good? You tune in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. Y'all, I'm hyped. I'm hyped because this is an all Philly show. This is everything about Philly hip hop, Philly culture, Philly everything. Number one, man. I'm just hyped. Show been too long in the making. I appreciate everybody taking the day. This is an all Philly panel, so it is all coming from different perspectives about Philly. If you ever want to know anything about Philly hip hop, this is the panel right here. Number one, my brother Ev, Uptown Philly representative. What's going on, good brother?
Peace. I'm good. Good to be here. It's gonna be dope.
No doubt, no doubt. I appreciate you chiming in. I got my brother Malik. We talking West Oak Lane, right across the street from Simon's, right here. What's going on, good brother?
Indeed. Nice to be here.
All right, no doubt. I got my man, one of the sharpest barbers in Philly, the only boy I trust with my beard when I'm back home. My man Toot the Barber. What's going on, Toot?
What up? I'm happy to be here. Blessed to be here.
No doubt. Y'all already know him. He always on the podcast. My brother, I say it all the time. The legendary Philadelphia representative Trey Lee. What's going on, boy?
Man, stop it. What's going on, people? How y'all doing, man? Good to see my Philly brethren up in here, you know?
Indeed.
No doubt, bro. No doubt. Man, look, y'all know me. Let's jump right into it, man. What are y'all earliest memories of Philly hip hop? Block parties, whatever. Just what do you when you think of hip hop being from Philly, what is the first thing that sparks in your mind? Malik, why don't you set us off? What's the what when you think of early Philly hip hop, what do you think about, man?
I mean, when I think of early Philly hip hop, and like from an artist perspective, you know what I'm saying? Like it really, to me, it really starts with Will and Jazzy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where it started for me from a Philly point of view. Now, from a different point of view, it started with the Last Poets with my pop, but that's somewhere totally different. But in terms of Philly, you understand that Will was like 16. Killing, going to house parties. Like back in the day, the house party was just like whatever. And I remember being on the block 10 years old and hearing my older cousins talking about going to see at this house party Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff about, you know, hearing them rap and battle rapping and stuff like that. And that was like a big thing. Like, yo, we going to see Will. We going to see Will. This is before he was of the Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was just like, I mean, I'm sorry, this before he was Will Smith. He you know, he was the Fresh Prince. So it's like, you know, that's my earliest memories of just coming up being like wanting to see Will Smith rap at a house party, like seeing him battle rap in that environment.
Right. That's dope. But we're gonna get into Will because people don't even know about Will on the battling tip. Two, what about you? What's your earliest memories of hip hop in Philly?
My earliest memories is block parties like Cosmic Kev with Perry P. And it used to be like tapes rolling around of live parties with the DJ scratching and the MCs rapping on top of it, like Jazzy Jeff and Cash Money. Like I can remember my cousin having that tape. You know what I mean? Like just circling around. You had Spin Bad. You know what I mean? I remember that's my earliest recollection of hip hop in Philly, like block parties, scratch tapes, with Fresh Prince on there, Marvelous. You know what I mean? Like that. And DJ Jazzy Jeff, I say Cash Money. Those are my earliest memories, the scratch tapes and block parties in Philly.
All right. No doubt. Ed, what about you, good brother?
My earliest memory of Philly hip hop actually is my first. When I think about the first time I fell in love with hip hop, I was up near Malik's Way. I was up at Simon's Rec. I was a young cat. We was going to it was like a summer camp. I think it was summer camp. Me and my sister, we was leaving the summer camp, leaving Simon's Rec, walking down. I can't remember what street we was walking down. And this cat was walking down. His brother was walking down. The boy had the old school boombox, and he was playing the show. And I remember we was walking, and you just heard this thing from behind you, and then the show had just come out. And you hear something, and you're like, "What the fuck is that?" And I remember being a young boy, and I turned around, and I was in amaze because I had never heard nothing like that. I had never. It's like it was the sound with the culture, with him just walking, with the boombox. It might have been Malik. You never know. It might have been Malik. But yo, man, that was my earliest. That's at the time that I knew I loved this culture. I loved it.
Right. That's dope. Trey, what about you, good brother?
I don't know. I may be jumping out the window by saying this, but I might be the elder statesman on this panel.
You the elder, brother. You the elder.
I'm the OG. All right, cool.
You the OG.
I'm gonna go back to Lady B. Lady B, WHAT.
Indeed.
When the radio station was the AM station, it wasn't even on FM yet.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna take it there. Like that's and Perry P. He already remember Perry. He already said Perry P. You know what I mean? Like he was like him. Lady B and Perry P were like the two first MCs that I can remember coming out of Philly. You know what I'm saying? Like really putting a stamp on things. Then you had MC Breeze. You know what I'm saying? And them kind of cats that came up after that. You know, Schoolie D and all that. But I remember, like I said, WHAT, the AM station. Before it even got the Power 99, before it even got the, you know what I mean, the FM dial, we was tuning into that joint, and it was only for a limited time. It wasn't, it was like three hours, maybe 2-3 hours. That was it. That was all you got. You know what I mean? So in addition to the block parties and all that other stuff, but that's when, and this is coming from an MC perspective, like cats on the mic, you know what I mean? And so those were the two, and then, you know, Lady B just had her own show. So those were the two that really, like, to me, it felt like Philly arrived. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we here. Like, it's about to really spread on some real shit. You know what I mean? So,
right. And that's dope. That leads right into how I was, man. It was my first thing is Street Beat with Lady B. You know, Friday nights on Power 99. Like, you know what I mean? And so it was Street Beat tuning in with Lady B. And then even Mimi had a joint on WDAS, the Rap Digest. You know what I mean? Mimi on WDAS, because her joint came on, I think it was like 9 to midnight, and then Lady B was like midnight on. You know what I mean? So it was like, to me, Friday night, I ain't have to go nowhere. I ain't want to go nowhere because that's where everything is. You know what I mean?
And see, the WHAT joint was on a Sunday. See, that's what I'm saying. It was limited time on Sunday. On the AM.
Yeah.
That was, but I ain't gonna cut you off, but yeah.
No. And I don't even remember. That's why it was the beautiful segue, because you went from the AM. I didn't even know about the AM joint.
Yeah,
I remember that too. I didn't even remember that.
I remember. Yeah, because
the first hip
I got older brother, so he
started with
used to put me on that.
Elliott. You know what I'm saying? He actually started one of the first rap video shows. On you talking about Channel 17, Mike Elliott.
Yeah, Mike Elliott.
Yeah, Mike Elliott started. That was like in like 80, 88, 87.
Yeah.
When he dropped that joint. I forgot the name of that show, but he dropped the one, and it only ran for an hour. And you only got like 6 videos because it was all commercials. But yo, I mean, like that alone, like set it off. You know what I'm saying? Just from like a visual, like seeing hip hop artists,
right?
You know what I mean, on the screen outside of just being on the radio and like imitating the culture and seeing it. And another thing that we always sleep on in terms of hip hop was the graffiti artists in the city and the break dancers. I know from a hip hop standpoint, everybody was trying to break dance. We was all trying to break.
No doubt.
And we remember breaking from back in the day, Wild Styles, all that. Like we was feeling that. Like that was. Just the graffiti culture in terms of how we all kind of like grafted that. We were all a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who was that? PBS in the 90s? The graffiti crew? Philly Bomb Squad? They were sick.
Yeah.
They were sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it back. If you're talking about that, so from a visual perspective, it was some hip hop being played on this show, but it was on Channel 17, Dancing on Air. If you want to take it, if you really want to take it, you know what I mean? If you really want to, you know what I'm saying? If you want to move the needle a little bit further back, we talking about like 80, 81, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yo, was that a Philly only?
What'd you say?
Was that a Philly only show?
The studio and everything was in the city, right?
Yep.
Dance on Air it was like an American bandstand.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That was our joint. You know what I mean? That was like, you know what I mean? So dancing on air was crazy. The other thing that
that's good stuff right there.
The other thing that put me in the joint of the early days was the shows that used to come. You know what I mean, to Philly. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy that I got this joint on my wall right here. It's crazy. My mom's took me to this. This was the like the Fresh Fest.
I was there. I was there. I was there. I was right in the crib. I was there.
And bro, the crazy thing about
let me tell y'all a story about that.
What you got? What you got?
Listen, right? Like I told you, I had an older brother, so I wanted to go to Fresh Fest so bad, right? My mom said I could go. My brother come in the house. Mom, I'm going with my friends. He don't need to go. He too young. He gonna get lost. And my mom took my ticket and gave it to my older cousin that was around the age of my brothers, and I did not get a chance to go there. I was so mad at my brother. Wow. He came home. He came home though. He came home. I wasn't speaking to him. He had a t-shirt. So I was like, all right, I'm cool with that.
Yo, the crazy thing about
go ahead.
Yeah, the crazy thing about this joint, my boss about 5 or 6 years ago copped this from me. He said, yo, I was out in Florida. I saw this joint. I thought about you. I brought it for you. I said, here the crazy part, boy. I was at that show. You know what I mean? So that's like God working. And you see it's the Spectrum Stadium. Like you see the stadium. Like the Spectrum. If you from the crib, you know what the Spectrum is. And the crazy part too, I felt you. The dope thing was my mom's took me. Yo, I was in 86, I was 8 years old. I don't know how the hell I taught my moms and taking an 8-year-old to a damn rap show, but she knew how much I loved it. You know what I mean? She saw how much I loved it. So like these old school rap shows that would come through Philly, you know what I mean? My earliest, memories of that. But tell me this, y'all. Top 5 MCs out of Philly and why? I'm going to set it off because one of my 5 is on the panel. I tell this man this all the time. You know what I mean? How dope Trey is. Trey comes in at the number 5 spot. Now, here's the thing, because people out there, whenever I tell people that, they always ask me why. They're like, yo, the boy only had one song. Let me talk for a second on Trey Lee. My OG, Steve, my girlfriend at the time, her nephew, went to Howard. So I'm a young boy. Well, I'm not a young boy, but I'm a freshman in college at Morgan. I go down for Howard because Howard used to have a hip-hop conference every year. I go down there with my man, Steve, in 92. And let me explain something to y'all. Trey Lee and his crew, One Step Beyond, they ran Howard. Them motherfuckers was like rap celebrity at Howard. Like, word is born, I'm not lying to nothing. Like, yo, these niggas was on some old Coming to America type shit. Like, when they walked in, it was like motherfuckers was throwing rose petals on the ground. Like, and I'm like, damn, what are these niggas? And Steve like, yo, these my niggas. And like, yo, he gave me, like, they did a show at Kilimanjaro's, tore the show down. I begged Steve. I said, yo, please let me get they demos. Got they demos, took it back to Morgan with me. I had everybody at Morgan State in 92 and 93 and 94. Ev right there, ever attest to this. I had everybody banging Trey Lee and One Step Beyond demos like the motherfuckers was albums.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And I told every time I drove I'm sorry. It's to a point every time I hear Trey voice, all I hear is, if it ain't one thing, it's another kid. When it rains before I did. All I hear is that verse. And here's the part to the testament of how dope those demos was. Like Trey, like 3 or 4 of them joints from their demo made it to Trey's debut album. Mm-hmm. That's the test. Most people who make a demo, they don't even want their demo to be heard, let alone is it good enough to be able to then be put on the album. And when did Many Faces come out, Trey? That's 97? 97. I'm talking about songs that was probably recorded in 92, coming out in 97, that still sounded, that wasn't dated.
That's facts.
Yeah, so, and that's what I try to and that's why I try to explain to boys, because I get it when they hear Trey Lee, they like, oh, that's just because that's your man. I'm like, nah, nigga, that's because I knew the Trey Lee before y'all even. I knew this nigga as L Rock. I didn't know who Trey Lee was. I was working at the radio station, and I didn't even know who Trey Lee was because his name was L Rock. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anybody, like F said, you talk to any of my New York niggas, anybody, we gonna talk about how New York felt about Philly rappers later. But the thing that got my New York, Brooklyn niggas to fuck with Philly rappers was not Black Thought. It was this man sitting right there, L Rock.
Wow.
That's
Man,
when I played niggas his stuff. Niggas was like, yo, this nigga nasty, and he from Philly. That's all he kept saying. Was he from Philly? Like, I'm like, yeah, the boy from Philly. So that's why I have Trey coming in at my number 5 spot because of that. My number 4 MC, it's rough. We gonna talk about this. It's really Steady B, but because of everything that happened with the bank robbery and everything, it's hard. That's heartbreaking to me because that was like my idol growing up as a Philly MC. Like Steady B was my idol, growing up. But I can't even put him right there just because of, and we'll get to that later. So I'm going with Cassidy for my number 4 spot. The reason why I say Cass, and again, people who know me gonna be like, "Yo, that's your young boy." Cassidy grew up across the street from me on Providence. I'm from Providence, Lime Q Pike. You open up my mom's door, you can see Cassidy's house right there. Cassidy, my young boy. Cassidy used to come to my crib to get beats when he first started rhyming. That's my young boy. So I've seen the growth of Cassidy. I've seen Cassidy again. Y'all gotta understand when you talk about Philly hip hop for people watching, you gotta understand before a nigga outside Philly even heard of Cassidy, he was killing the motherfucking ciphers. He was undefeated in Philly. I remember being home from college and niggas coming on my block. We thinking we about to rumble somebody now. They just coming up to battle Cassidy. And Cassidy would eat niggas up over and over again. And he got caught up in that. I don't know why. In around 2002, the industry wanted to take all these street rappers, but then make them pop. I don't understand why. Because they did it to Cass, they did it to Fabulous, they did it to Jadakiss. Because I was telling all my niggas, wait till you hear this nigga Cassidy. The game holder for yeah, but my thing is, but why take a hood rapper and do that shit? You know what I mean? So I'm telling all my niggas from New York, wait till you hear my nigga Cassidy. Wait, just wait. And then Hotel came out, and all my niggas called me like, motherfucker, this your nigga? This the nigga you talking about? This nigga out here with R. Kelly, like, this your nigga? And I'm sitting there like, no, but that ain't really him. Like, that ain't him. And it's wild because my niggas from Brooklyn told me the same thing. Like, yo, man, I got this nigga named Fab Sport. He nice. He out of Brooklyn. He out of Fab Sport. I heard Fabulous on Superwoman doing that da-da-da-da. I was like, this nigga? Like, so I don't know what it was why people they were signing these street rappers, but then making them do pop hits. But his second album, I'm a Hustler, to me is so slept on. I think a lot of people wrote him off. I think Swiss kind of let him do his lane. And then, I mean, just again, if you know that whole battle rap, Cassidy kind of fathered that in. You know what I mean? This whole stuff that people see now, that's all Cassidy, to the infamous Freeway battle with him and Cass. You know what I mean? Like, that's classic. Number 3, Schoolie D, the godfather of gangster rap. You know, I always salute Ice-T, because Ice-T, when people be like, oh, Ice-T, you the one who started gangster rap, Ice-T always be like, nah, Schoolie D. You know what I mean? Schoolie D. Schoolie D is that Parkside shit, all of that stuff. I remember my mom's is a jazz musician. She was playing at the Man Music Center one night. We going through them turns of the Man Music, and you end up right there at 52nd and Parkside. I seen the Parkside Inn as a little kid. I bugged the fuck out like, oh, that's the Parkside Inn. That's what Schoolie talking about. Like, my brain blew up. You know what I mean? So Schoolie's my number 3. Black Thought is my number 2. And then number 1 is Beans for me. Beans to me just, he speaks my language as far as what I like from an MC. He got stories. He's that street shit. So those are my top 5 MCs. Coming out of Philly. Ev, I know you may have to bounce early, so I want to get with your 5. What you got?
All right, my 5 is I came up in the I was in the 90s underground a lot, so I'm gonna name some cats that y'all have probably may or may not have heard before. And there's no particular order. One of my cats is actually a good friend of mine who passed. His name was Xanax. He's actually from uptown, Simon's Rec dude. One of the most illest cats I've ever heard from home. The next cat, Zanny, and not to say Zanny, he just had a style, and to know him, you have to hear him to really know. He just had that's something. Philly always has style, so Zanny just had this real abstract style. Shit was ridiculous. The next cat, I gotta say, Bad News from 100X. Some people don't.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Ridiculous.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so I gotta say Bad News, man. He was just one of them dudes. And again, So you got it. It's during that time. There wasn't no. Everybody didn't have a phone. There wasn't a bunch of cameras. You had to be there to know. So I got Bad News in there. Then the rest of them probably catch you do know. I'll say, of course, Thought. I think Thought is probably one of the illest MCs, period, out there. I think his pen game is just ridiculous. His
hear y'all.
His freestyle game is just ridiculous. Who else was I thinking about? Thought. EST.
Yeah, I can't hear y'all.
Okay.
Man.
EST.
Can you hear
Another
me?
good one.
EST.
I can hear y'all. I can hear y'all.
Nice, man.
Another good one.
EST was just again another his pen game was ridiculous. Was stupid nasty. And the last one, it's a hard one, man, because I go between. I want to give respect to cats like Schoolie D. You always want to give your respect. You also know that it's cats out there like Trey. It's another cat, because Trey was one of the cats that influenced me to go stronger with the pen. And you got to give respect out to cats that influence you to do more in your craft. I got to always tip my hat to them. So he was one of them cats. When I heard that L Rock tape, that kill that through me, and the fact that he was from Philly. And don't get me wrong, that Roots, Do You Want More album was dope, but it was, it was a little abstract. It was a little abstract, a little bit abstract. Whereas the L Rock joint was just hard. It was just, it was that grit that you was aware of that you just knew if you were from back home. So it always goes between them cats.
Oh man,
And
appreciate you.
It's funny Ev, that you said that, because I'm telling you, because if you was at Morgan, you still can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear everybody else though?
1, 2.
Right.
1, 2.
Y'all sound muted.
Nah, it ain't us. Did you do something when
I could hear. I heard him. I heard him.
Try to go out and come back in. Click the link again. See if you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, here you come. 1,
You
2.
good? 2. You hear?
Yo, hello.
You can hear it now?
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
All right,
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
All
You good. You good. The
right.
crazy thing is, if you was at Morgan or Howard from them 90s years, like Ev is saying, yo, Trey, I lie to you not, your demo went through every dorm on my fucking campus.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
That's
At
crazy.
that time in 93, I hadn't gotten on the radio yet, but trust me, if I was on the radio, the whole motherfucking city of Baltimore would have known who Trey Lee was. Like, literally, your demo to us is damn near an album to us.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because of those joints. And another thing before I go to Malika too, another thing about Trey, I was with my OG Steve later on after Many Faces came out, and he was like, yo, here's some new Trey. And I said, oh, where's some new Trey? This nigga freaked that Jay-Z shit before Jay on some Streets Is Watching. Like, if I shoot you, you brainless. If you shoot me, then you famous. What's the nigga to do? Trey had this song. I'll never forget. I'm on 76 and Old Guys Avenue with my old head Steve. He plays me this shit. And Trey, the concept was, yo, you know what I mean? Like, if a nigga, if I rumble a nigga, then the nigga sue me. But then if I get robbed, then I'm a punk. Or if I smash a shorty, she gonna scream rape. But then if I don't smash her, I'm the gay rapper. It was like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I was like,
Catch 22. It was called Catch 22.
It's Catch 22. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This shit was crazy. So this is what I'm talking about. There's so much unreleased hip hop that, some people are privy to hear, other people aren't. I was just blessed and privy to hear Trey. So, but like Ed was saying, that tape literally circulated around Morgan State like it was crack, man. Like, everybody be like, yo, let me dub that. And I was trying to be like, nah, I ain't even supposed to have this motherfucker. I can't let you dub it, you know what I mean? But, it did its rounds or whatever. But Malik, tell me, top 5 Philly MCs. What you got?
All right, real quick. I'm going to try to be short on this joint. No particular order. I mean, I'm with you on Beans. I love him. I mean, I just think that his wordplay, the way his flow, his style, the way he kind of, he actually brought Philly back from the dead.
I can't hear Malik.
You know what I'm saying? Like at a period of time. So I gotta throw Beans in there. Thought is just 25 years of excellence. I mean, like, when you think about greatest MCs of all time, I mean, Black Thought is at the top of the list. I mean, I remember watching. One of my fondest memories of rap is, is watching Black Thought rap at, at 16 at the layup on South
At
Street.
the layup, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the layup, fine, you know what I mean? Like they literally outside jamming. I mean, jamming on South
I
Street.
can't hear
At
him.
6 in the afternoon going in.
Hey,
And I'm
Kel,
coming to
I can't hear
like
him.
3 hours on South Street for free, like at the layup. I'm like crazy.
Say it again.
So, like,
Check your phone. Check
you
your
know what I
phone.
mean? Like
I
Black
texted
Thought is just 25 years of pure excellence, and I'm so happy that he's getting his just due as just the complete MC, the complete musician, because that's what the roots are always aspired to be.
Absolutely.
If you know anything about him, if you've been following, like even like they dropped Organics in Europe before they even dropped anything in the States.
In the States,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
like you know what I mean. So just I just marveled at them because they are the epitome of what a group would be, and they still a group. Like you don't hear about Tariq and Quest breaking up.
Right.
Man,
Right.
like imagine that. Like imagine being a group for as long as they had and still having that chemistry.
Right.
Can you mind if I add on? Can I add on real quick? Is that cool?
Oh yeah, jump.
Yeah, do your thing, yeah.
I just want to add on because I don't know how much time I got. When you said the layup, you got me hyped. I just want to speak to that for a quick second, man. The thing with Philly, man, you had different spots where you went to sharpen your sword. And one of those spots was the layup. Another spot was the last drop. And of course, all the ciphers you would see on South Street. You had to go to those ciphers. It wasn't necessarily a battle, but you had to go in there with your sword sharp. Or you got your head chopped off. One of the two. But it was just I have to say that, man. It was a regiment as Philly MCs that we went through. You wasn't just dope because your man said you was dope. You had to come in and show and prove that you was dope.
Right.
And those
You know what I'm saying?
cyphers is where that happened. So I just got super hyped when he said lip. I haven't heard that word in years.
Indeed.
I'm gonna get out the way, but let's talk that real quick.
All right, who you got left, Malik?
I gotta go with Will, man, and I'm gonna tell you why I think Will is just different. One, he was one of the first battle rappers when rap was starting to explode. As we was talking earlier, is that Will used to go up to New York, routinely and crush cats, and just let everybody know that the best MCs in Philly. He was the epitome of the entertainer, the house party rapper, and the ill thing about Will was, and I gotta make this point, and it's not really a negative. It's actually a positive in the way in terms of how we look at music. But in the 80s, in the late 80s, hip hop was like a revolutionary music.
Mm-hmm.
People was listening to hip hop to stay on point. It was like to get black people focused. Like the negativity in the music was despised upon. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't the message. So what Will did was Will took the edge off. Will made it seem like I'm down with the cause, but you know what I mean? I'm not fighting that battle. Like Will was a non-threatening MC. And anybody could play his music. Like you can easily hand he's the DJ, I'm the rapper to a 12-year-old and be perfectly fine. It's gonna be cool. You know what I'm saying? It was the first time that rap actually went into the mainstream and everybody was completely comfortable. And that's it was very it was unique at the time because of everything about fighting the power, being on point. Like that's why the NWA thing is so crazy. We're not gonna talk about that today, but that's why the whole mission of the music was just different. And Will took off the edge and he made everybody relax and like, hey, we can do other things in this genre. It's not all about fighting the power. So Will brought balance to the force. In a way.
Now, here's the thing, right? But hold on for a second, Malik. I want to say this before, because the reason why I'm saying that is because you got to realize a lot of folk from Philly realize that, but realizing that the beautiful thing about podcasts and everything is people watching. I know somebody right now is watching like, yo, what the fuck is your man talking about Will Smith and battling? Will Smith in Philly was a battle rapper. You know what I mean? So coming up in the 80s, that's how he made his name, was through battle rappers. Now,
I got a story.
I got you, Trey. I got you. Here's the other thing.
Rapping album.
Now
This
here's
first
the other
album,
thing.
Rock the House, is all about battle rapping. It's
Facts.
Right now,
all about trusting MCs.
Facts.
I got you now. Hold
It's all
tight.
about battle rapping.
Now here's the thing.
Facts.
For people who don't know, this is how people do their history. People think just reading books makes you smarter with hip hop. No, it's reading the right books makes you smarter in hip hop. This book is written by Paradise. Number one, Paradise ran a Latin Quarters in New York City, which was an infamous club. Also, Paradise was part of X-Clan. So this is a legitimate source for hip hop knowledge. He talks about how Will and Jeff were one of the few groups from out in New York who would come to the Latin Quarters and tear that shit down every time they went.
Yep.
So from a person at home who's like, yo, Will Smith, this and that, again, I'm not talking about the Will Smith that you got on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm not talking about that. That's once the industry and once the machine gets into you, that's what was pushed. But trust and believe in the 80s. I'm not saying the 90s. I'm not talking Cassidy battle rap. But in the 80s, Will was a battle-tested MC. So just in case you don't know, here's some history. This is your history right here. People always be like, yo, Google's your friend. I tell motherfuckers, no, I'm your friend. People who are older your friends. Stop Googling shit and call your old head cousin, call your old head brother.
Who was there?
Information from them. Don't call Google. Don't call me asking about what happened in Compton. Call your cousin who live in Compton. But if you want to know about what was going on in Philly, we're telling you.
Word.
I just wanted to say that because I know somebody watching is like, man, who the fuck did it? Will Smith, a battle rapper. I get it. I understand. If I wasn't from Philly, I'd probably be saying the same thing. Like Will Smith. Parents just don't understand. Because most people, that's how they know Will Smith. They don't even know about Rock the House. They don't even know.
People act like parents just don't understand didn't sell 20 million albums. And like people
here's the thing, Malik. I'm not gonna hold you. I fucking hate it. Parents don't understand.
I'm not I hear what you're saying.
What you say?
That album is dope. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper, is a dope album.
I mean, shit. It's shit. That's right. I got it right here. It's one. If you want to talk about history, it's the first double rap album in the history. This is a 2 LP.
Like
first time that shit ever happened. And all of that. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of parents just don't understand. With my shit.
Cats acting like they didn't like it when they was 10. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I like that album.
They're older now.
I love that album.
When you was 12, you was listening to it.
I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Albums because everybody hated the joint.
But even if you didn't like that, even if you didn't like that track, you can't front on Brand New Funk.
Nah,
Brand New Funk is that word.
man,
Brand new.
that's one of the top 50 songs of all time.
Exactly.
That's one of the top 50 songs of all time.
Like every 10 minutes.
No, Brand New Funk. I ain't even mentioned Summertime yet.
Yeah,
Brand New Funk is one of the top 50 hip hop songs of all time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and again,
Out of everybody.
Right,
Exactly.
I agree. And the reason why I'm just saying is because, like I said, if you weren't from Philly, I understand people questioning what Malik was saying. That's why I wanted to break that down because I get it. If I wasn't from Philly and I just knew Fresh Prince from Parents Just Don't Understand, Brand New Funk, and then Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I hear somebody telling me he was a battle rapper, I'm gonna be like, come on. But that's why we're here to educate and all those things. Two, give me your top 5.
Hold on. Jay-Z in Miami. With Champagne, he cool. Will Smith in Miami. With Champagne, he cool. I'm just trying to say is that
I hear
we
you.
was doing a lot of shit. We was doing a lot of shit like back before even Cass was even on it. But listen, I'm not a Will Smith fan. I just see the evolution of a dude who was rapping at 16 and still rapping at 50 and just dropped a track like 2 days ago with this boy Lucas Jordan.
Lucas Joyner.
Fire.
Will Smith tough.
You got two more, Malik. You got two more.
Two more. Okay, what about you? Gotta go with EST Rob. Funky Dividends, that fucking Funky Dividends album. Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
All right, my
Crazy.
top five original style.
Convertible instead of talking about Cadillac convertible. Okay, stop right there.
Crazy.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
One more.
I mean, Rob is crazy, and listen. I'm just gonna go. I'm going with Meek at number 5. I just think that Meek.
Not mad at it. I'm not mad at that.
I can't be mad at that. I ain't mad at Meek.
Evolutionary over time. I just think that the Championships album was almost flawless.
I ain't mad at Meek. Can't nobody be mad at me. All right, Toot, who you got for your top 5 MCs out of Philly?
All right, 5. I had EST. Pen Game was crazy. He had like bars. He had like them double entendres on there. Like he had swag too, and he was able to paint a picture. He was the first Philly rapper that would paint a picture about what he's talking about. In my opinion, my number 4 is Will Smith. He the first rapper that like I really heard battle in my life. Like so, he was amazing. When I first heard him, like it was something different that I never heard in my life. Like so, my number 3, y'all might be surprised at this one. Spado.
Nah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Oh, you're not mad at that?
No, I know Spade.
Like
Yo, there he goes.
Like, birthed the Philly style rap that's out now. He like the origin of it. Even though Gilly was like kind of the face of Major Figures, I felt like Spade had the style, had the bars, it made the most sense to me. He
the unsung hero of that group. He the unsung hero of that group.
That's so true. That's so true.
My number 2 is Seed Beans. He was like he was the hardest, but the flyest, and he was like pain. Like Seed is like my number 2 boy. Like he kind of like ran Philly rap from like 98 to whenever, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like him and Spade is like the yin and the yang to me, you know what I mean? And Philly, they both hard, they both tell stories, but they come about it a different way. My number one is Thought, Black Thought. To me, he like epitomized lyricism, like off the top, like he could give it to you, you know what I mean? And I've seen him do it in person. So like Thought is my number 1. So my top 5 is EST, Will, Spade, Beans, and Black Thought. That's my top 5.
Yeah. And then the thing is for people watching, the thing for me, if you from Philly and you down South Street, the Roots used to, like Malik said, the Roots was always down South Street. So there's so many times you seen Thought doing, like when Thought did that Funk Flex shit, my phone blowing up. I'm like, nigga, that ain't nothing new to me. Like, I don't know what y'all spazzing about. I've been seeing Thought do that for the last 20 years. Like, all niggas just catching up. You know, the sad part about the game is that I feel like Black Thought is now more known from a 15-minute freestyle than he is for the discography that he's put in with the Roots. You know what I mean? But again, I'm glad the man is getting his props. But it's just like, damn, like you do know this boy got, you know what I mean? We going back to 90. You know what I mean? That this dude, he's one of the few MCs whose pen game may be better. You know what I mean? While most rappers are going down, his may be the best it's ever been. Trey, give me your top 5.
Top 5. Well, first of all, I mean, y'all done probably named all. You can't hear me? You can't hear me?
No, we got you.
I got you. We got you.
I can't really hear him.
Well, I'm gonna still go though. Top 5, y'all done really named them. But well, you want to go out? Tell them to come out and come back in. See if you can hear me then. But I'll repeat it.
Go back out and come back in again.
Who, me?
Yeah,
true. If you can't hear Trey, try to go out and come back in again. That may work.
All right, I'm about to do it now. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, but I'll go. So I'll mention some honorable mentions that wasn't mentioned, right? So I'm gonna talk about Eve for a second. Now,
forgot
Eve.
about it. Yeah.
Now, you know what I'm saying? Now, Eve. The interesting thing about Eve to me is that when I was out there, when I was, you know what I'm saying, like the thing was hot and all that, and I go to the gallery. I do an in-store at the gallery, and so this young John just comes up, you know, stallion looking. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like she got a little look about it, right? You know what I mean? I'm seeing her and she peeping it and she taking me out, and she was like, God bless you. She was like, yo, Trey, can I spit for you? I said, all right, go ahead. So then she just start rattling off. Da 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 da. And then some boys just start coming out of nowhere like, "Yo, I got something for you." She was like, "Yo, you want to battle?" And she started calling people out. And one by one in the gallery, I forget, I don't know if I was in Sam Goody or one of them Jones, but she just started chopping people's heads off. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm looking at this John like, "Yo, who are you?" So, long story short, she wound up going with Rough Riders and them, but I didn't have everything straight then, but if I did, I would have signed her on the spot because she was chopping people's heads off clearly like that. You know what I'm saying? So honorable mention. She's not in my 5, but honorable mention. Also, I want to give a shout out to Young Chris. Like I'm talking about people that shifted the culture, right? Young Chris, we all know who he influenced.
I don't want to stop your wisdom. Hey, Trey.
We all know who he influenced.
Right.
Trey.
Yes.
Trey, I don't want to stop your wisdom, but he on my slept on list. I got him on my paper. Yeah. He's on my slept on list. But finish.
But just for the mere fact, because nobody will say it, but we all know it. He arguably influenced who people deem to be the greatest rapper alive.
Come on now, speak.
You see what I'm saying?
Preach.
When you start talking about influence, mannerisms, pen game, the way he swings in and out of beats and all of that, the charisma. Yeah. You know where he got it from. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta give a shout out to that boy. I got to. You know what I mean? Like those two. And the only reason they're not in my top 5 is because from a general rule of mine, I can't put my contemporaries or people that came way after me in my 5 because they didn't influence me like that.
Right.
But for the purposes of this conversation, I have to put Thought and Beans at 1 and 2, just for the fact of when you start talking about shifting culture, you know what I'm saying? Beans shifted the culture.
You
see what I'm saying? Beans shifted the culture. He didn't just shift Philly cats. He shifted the entire culture the same way Jadakiss did. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shifted the entire culture. And the same thing with Thought. Like, but Thought was more so longevity. Dog, like you said, he been doing this joint since before me. He came out commercially before me. We talking about 95. And like you said, his pen has improved. How do you improve from the shit he was doing in 95, which was incredible?
That's crazy.
He's an alien. Like, these are aliens I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So those are 1 and 2. At 3, I gotta put Will. Just as Will. I mean, come on, man. You talking about shifting culture once again. You know what I'm saying? And for the fact that you said, Malik, dude is a battle rapper. Don't get it twisted. I tried to call Will out when him and Jeff and Cash Money used to come to Girard. They used to do our high school parties. I tried to call him and Marvelous out. They wouldn't battle me. You know what I mean? Because they were on a different level, but I tried. Look, man, because you know how it is. We talking about mid-80s. We talking about like 85, 86. Right. You know what I mean? This is what we did. If you was nice, on the spot, let's battle. It wasn't no on the record. It wasn't no where are you standing? Where are you standing right now? Let's battle. I did the same thing to Steady. I did the same thing to Steady B. Caught him slipping out. You know what I mean? Center City somewhere. Let's battle.
Let's do it right now.
He wouldn't do it, but I'm calling you now. Let's battle. So you know what I'm saying?
So that's how you used to do it back in the day.
Right on the spot. Where we at?
Let's do it right here.
Let's go. So Will is number 3. Schoolie D, again, shifting culture. Exactly. He influenced the whole coast. He influenced the whole damn coast. Man, come on now. The whole coast, he got to be in my top 5. That's number 4. And then number 5, I kept going back and forth as y'all was naming it. EST, but it's got to be a tie. EST is number 5, but he's tied with Bahamadia.
Oh,
reason why.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Bahamadia tough. Bahamadia was tough.
And the reason why.
Yeah. Bahamadia is nasty.
Even now, though, I saw her produce an album. And this is not why she's in my top 5, but I can't lie. It's some type of influence somewhere in the back of my brain, subliminally. But I saw her, and she sent me an album that she produced on her phone, with software on her phone. Rhyming, recorded it, did all that shit on the iPhone. And her pen game is just as, if not, just like Thought, nastier now than it was then. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But she was the first female coming out of Philly beside Lady B. To me, like Lady B is the inception. So when we start talking about early mid '90s and spitters and just her whole aura, you know what I'm saying, with the
Funk
Afro
vibe.
and all that, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people,
vibe.
Funk vibe, crazy. Like I don't think enough people give her the due that she should get. So,
Funk vibe, boy.
Yeah.
Funk
So
vibe.
that's my 5, man. I mean, it's all, we the home of the spitters, so it's some other spitters out there that's younger. You know what I'm saying? But that's my 5.
Yo, Kill, I'm a peace out,
Yeah,
man.
I know you
I
got about.
gotta run. Yo, I hate to leave because it's such a good panel, man. You gotta send me this one.
Yo, I owe you a phone call too. My bad, brother. You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
Yo, thanks for having me, y'all. Peace to my family. Peace to y'all cats, man.
Yeah, man.
Bro, peace, bro.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No doubt, black man.
Have a good
Yes,
look.
sir.
All right, peace, y'all.
All right.
All right, bro.
So we did our top 5. Let's talk about some slept on boys. Like for me, one of my top 5 slept on MCs up here is my man Petey Crack.
Oh, I
don't know why Petey. I love Petey because Petey got his own style. Like the first time I heard Petey, he got a voice that just make you go like, who that? And then the style just came with it. Petey, I always tell people he got this mixtape called Welcome to Crack's House. That shit 5 mics to me. Petey go in on that. So if you're looking for something, if you're looking at me like I'm bugging, if you follow me on Twitter and IG or whatever, you follow the podcast, I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me when I tell you, Petey got some shit. Petey got some shit.
Boy.
Yeah, next up I got a boy a lot of people don't know about, The Last Emperor out of West
Philly.
The Last Emperor. The Last Emperor. The boy he was on a Lyricist Lounge album back in '97. He was on Raucous for a second. He was signed to Dre's Aftermath label.
Yep.
I mean, if you can find it, he got an album out called The Legend of Bigfoot. 5 mics to me. The boy named Jamal. He used to go to Lincoln with my boy Jay. Jay brought him through my crib one day to hear beats. Me and this nigga end up chopping up in my mom's basement over all my comic books. And he was like, yo, I got this joint coming out called Secret Wars, where I got the comic book characters rumbling MCs. And I was like, word? Yeah. And then when I heard it, I was like, yo, this shit is ingenious. And he doing people's voices. So he got like Storm versus Lauryn Hill. Busta Rhymes. Yeah, he got Busta Rhymes versus Doc Octopus.
Yep. Yeah, nah.
I remember that was crazy.
The way he thinks. It's banana. You gotta be cerebral though. It's not for the faint of heart. You gotta be cerebral when you listening to the boy. Right. He is
right.
Yeah,
he's nutty.
Last Emperor to me. He remind me of like an organized confusion. Like Trey said, this ain't no listen. Put his album on while you cleaning the house. No, you gotta put his album on and sit down and listen to what he's saying.
Yep.
Yeah, he the type of boy you gonna learn the new words. You gonna learn a couple. That nigga said something like something about a solid gold sarcophagus. I was like, what the fuck is a sarcophagus? So I was like, okay, let me go look. Yeah, I'm like, let me go look this up. He real dope. I got EST down as a slept on boy. I mean, original styling. If you from Philly, Tucson, from the Giddy Up, like most people, when you say 3 times, people outside of Philly always go to the Greatest Man Alive and Funky Dividends. In my opinion, if you from Philly, you can go to those two, but you also gonna go to From the Giddy Up and Straight Up. Those two joints right there are Philly and
Fire.
What about Joe Familia? What about Joe Familia?
You don't understand how many times I'll say that. I work for people who know I work out here. Yeah, they don't know. I'll be out here in the hoods in DC. I'm like, yo, it's motherfucking Joe Familia nigga. They like, what you mean? I'm like, oh, that's a Philly thing, Joe Familia. You know what I mean? Like, it's Joe Familia nigga over there. But what you gonna say too?
That whole album is Philly though.
Like the slang, the whole album. Yep.
Go ahead.
Everything from beginning to end. And the thing is, a lot of people don't notice about EST. Scott Storch, when he was producing Beyonce's album, he said that EST was kind of hurting for money. He
Say
said,
it.
"All right, yo."
Wrote the joint.
He said, "Yo, he sold Beyonce on letting EST write for her on some old like, oh yeah, he wrote hits before." Scott was like, "This nigga ain't never wrote nothing on no R&B tip," and the nigga went
Say
on to
it.
write. The nigga went on to write "Naughty Girl," "Baby Boy," and "Me,
Right.
Myself, and I," which was all
Say it.
Beyonce's singles. You know what I mean? So that's just again the Philly love of Scott Storch putting his bull on, saying like, "Yo, I'm in a good situation here. And Scott taking a chance. How you gonna tell Beyonce? How you gonna lie to Beyonce and be like, "Oh no, this boy legit and he ain't never wrote nothing." Like you putting yourself in the line of fire. You know, and the boy went on to write my favorite Destiny's Child joint, "Cater to You." EST wrote that joint.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So for people out there who like, "Yo, I wonder where EST is. He getting them publishing and them royalty checks from
Yes, sir.
Beyonce."
Yes, sir.
And then my number one slept on out of Philly, Malik B. Out of the Roots,
Malik.
man.
Woo!
Malik B.
Malik tough.
You know what I mean?
Malik tough.
Yo,
Hold on.
Malik.
I got a discussion for you. Is
All
Malik
right,
B
what's up?
better? Is Malik B better than Dice Raw?
Yeah.
I think so. I think he better
I
than
think
Dice.
so.
I think he better than
I
Dice.
love them both, but I got Dice. I got Dice.
Hold on. Listen to
Dice
listen
got different type of energy than Malik. You know
True.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, and see, I'm not a big Dice Raw fan anyway.
I got
think the
you.
boy
I got
right.
you.
But
I got
but
you.
Malik to me they mirror the Roots. To me, always mirror Tribe perfectly. Because
Yeah.
for me, when People's Instinctives came out, I was like, this is cool, but it's cool. Same thing with Do You Want More? I'm like, yeah, this cool. Then Low End Theory came out, and I was like, yo, this shit crazy. Philadelphia came out, and I was like,
I got
this
that
shit
down.
crazy.
Y'all
Yeah.
big.
That's a good
Y'all
one.
killing me. Y'all
But here's the
killing
crazy
me.
part. This the crazy part on how it keeps lining up. Then I'm like, well, how you want to top Low End and Philadelphia? Tribe come with Midnight, Roots come with Things Fall Apart. You know what I mean?
Thanks for
So,
Yeah.
but here's the other way that it worked perfectly too. The first album, I'm like, why is this boy Fife even in the group? What the fuck do this nigga do? Same thing with Malik. I'm like, Malik barely even rap. He just talking about you can make a nerd say he's superb. I'm like, this nigga whack. Philadelphia come out, no great pretender.
Man.
Malik B's solo song is my favorite song on Philadelphia.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
Then you go to Low End Theory. Fife comes out. Now everybody like, ooh, you hear Butter, and it's like, ooh. Now I see why the boy Fife was in the group. So both of them boys is running parallel
Killing me.
lives to each other.
I like the comparison.
Yeah, because Malik B, yo, when Butter came out, everybody loved Butter. Everybody was like, yo, Fife is crazy. This thing crazy. No Great Pretender was crazy. I just felt like Malik was the perfect yin to Thoughts Yang. Like
I
the
agree
same
with
way
that.
the same way Tip and Fife just flowed effortlessly together. I felt like, to be honest, I haven't been a big Roots fan since Things Fall Apart, and I put a lot of that on Malik not being there anymore. You know what I mean? I know for a lot of people, it's just, oh, Thought got bars, but in terms of making good all-around songs and making good all-around albums, I
It's
definitely
energy.
I agree with that.
energy was there. His energy was there. So those are my 5 slept on. What were you gonna say too?
I was gonna say, but you already answered the question. I was gonna
What's
say
that?
but you already did. If you listen to the older Roots Jones, you can hear Malik really stamped on them Jones. So, but you already said it.
And another thing I loved about Malik is he represented everywhere. He would be like West. What he said? What he said on Saturday? He said something. HRM, Ogon's ad, Brickyard, the Hollow. Like, you know what I mean? I love being here, Ogon's ad. Right. But that's what I mean. He repped it. You know what I mean? That's why when Musa in the shop with you, but I brought you with Musa Hakeem. Like, yeah, like that was the thing with him. He always represented where he was from. What you got, Trey?
Go ahead. You about to say something?
Go ahead, Trey.
I want to mention 2 rappers, 2 MCs, should I say, that a lot of people don't even know they're from Philly, but they're from Philly all the way.
All right.
Corrupt.
Yeah.
I wanted to break Corrupt up.
Yeah.
I got a Corrupt. I don't have a story, but New York is one of my favorite battles rap songs of all time.
Corrupt
is nasty.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Yes.
Corrupt is like you don't even understand, especially off the top. Off the top, I did a record with Corrupt, and I could have swore he rhymed that joint off the top, but it sounded like he wrote it. I don't have the proof, But he can go for days. He can go
Let me stop.
for hours, like just hours upon hours, like without stopping. It's crazy. The other cat is Lil Jamal.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, look.
You know what I'm saying? No,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
He was hard, bro. He was
Yeah,
hard.
got down with the Hit Squad and the Def Squad and all of that, and was running with Red and them. That's another boy. He can go for days and days and days and days just spitting bars. So I just wanted to mention those two because a lot of people don't know they from Philly.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. And another thing, another salute to you, Trey. And I always tell you this, but anytime I'm on here, I gotta say it. Trey to me is one of the few MCs who rhymed on a track with Big. And in
I was about to say that. You keep taking my wins, though.
Right, I'm gonna shut up. I'm shut up. You say it.
Here go.
You say it too.
Here go. Trey, listen.
Yo.
The Iverson crossover.
Listen to me. Kill like in my mind. And Trey, you was on my slept on list because you rode with Biggie. Like you can't say flat out he got over on you on that track. And if you do, you biased. And I'm the biggest Big fan there is, dog. Like
Kill said he was. Kill said he was the biggest Big fan.
No, I'm the biggest Big fan. But to hear what made me proud was to hear a Philly boy on there and just jabbing with him and throwing power blows with him. I was proud, yo. I was proud. I was like, yeah, so you on my slept on list.
Thank you, man.
Slept on list.
Hey,
I'm gonna let you know. You on my slept on list.
Thank you, brother. And listen, I talk to Kill about this all the time. And it was always a thing for me because I had left Philly. You know what I'm saying? After I graduated from high school, I went down to DC, then went to New York, and never really came back. So I never really knew how Philly really received me like that because I was never in the, you know what I mean? I never got back in the field. So it was like, I would hear stuff like even when I was when I come back to perform and all that, and I know how a Philly crowd is. A Philly crowd is, and I tried to tell my boys from New York, I said, look, if they don't boo or throw shit at you, you good, because they didn't know that, you know what I mean, by a cat, just looking at you and observing, it's good. It's good money. You know what I mean? They kept asking me, yo, Trey, did we rock it? I'm like, yeah. Like, how you know they wasn't I was like, look, man, as long as they didn't boo or throw shit at you. Yeah, exactly.
We cool.
Exactly. I was like, you good. You good. Don't worry about that. So just to hear you say that and to hear Kill say that, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely confirmation that, home was home. You know what I'm saying? It still is home.
Them New York boys, they probably was mad because they didn't get on the track with Big.
Oh, absolutely. I know that. I know that.
They kind of would hate on you, and I'm like, how are you hating on them bars? Like I'll say you and Method Man are the only two who really took him into deep waters. And now I'm telling you, he got 2 songs with Jay-Z. I'm talking about Method Man on the What and you on Keep Your Hands High. Took him into deep waters. I'm like, damn. And I didn't believe you were from Philly. When somebody told me, "Oh, boy from Philly," I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
When I was at Howard, I was like, yo,
salute, bro. Salute.
He was like, what?
Yo, Trey, because the thing is, Malik went to Howard.
When'd you go? When were you there?
I was there from 93 to 98. So I was there.
Okay. Yeah, you was there. Yeah, you was there. Yeah.
I remember your mixtapes and all that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Man.
Everything Kill said about you guys, like running the entire party scene, is 1,000% correct. Like that's just
and that's the thing that I try to tell niggas that may not go into an HBCU. Every HBCU in the 90s had some niggas who rapped on campus, but I had never seen no shit like them at Howard. Like it was like they was already signed. Like that's how people at Howard treated them. Like they was signed. Like these dudes could come to a party and just go right in. Like there wasn't like. And again, if you was at an HBCU, it's different now. Like. Everybody didn't rap at Morgan. There was people who rapped, and there was people who was nice. Right, and they would go out like that. But these boys was treated like royalty. These boys was royalty at Howard. You know what I mean? So and I always tell Trey that again, going like that on back and forth with Big, like Two said, did me right. You know what I mean? Did me right. You know, and two. What's your slept on? Who else you got for your slept on?
All right. Trey Lee was one. I got Ab Lava.
Woo!
Another slept on.
Pain game.
Dumb.
That's
my man.
For niggas who don't know about Ad Live, but go get them re-up. Go get them re-up games. Get them re-up games.
Pin game is stupid.
All right. So I got Trey Lee, Ab Live. I got Young Chris. Because he birthed the Hove that we know.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Hove going into his Nas joint now though, but
right.
He going to his Nas joint.
Right.
So I got Trey Lee, Young Chris, Ab Lava. I got Schoolie D. Because I feel like for somebody to birth the gangster rap and not get talked about a lot, you know what I mean?
That's right.
I feel like he slept on. And another slept on boy, y'all might I don't know if y'all know him. Del P 215.
Oh, that's my man. That's my man. Yeah.
Del P put you in that line of thought.
Yep.
Black thought a little bit. So I could say that he slept on, and his body of work is tremendous. If you just go Google his name or go on Apple Music or wherever you streaming at, you got albums and bars for days. So that's my slept on right there.
And Malik, real quick before we get to you, one thing you brought up too that was dope about Schoolie, and I got a whole little thing I'm gonna talk about the Hilltop for about a good 2 or 3 minutes. But the thing is, with a lot of Philly rappers, you gotta realize like a lot of them Schoolie D hits was all him pressing that shit up himself. Right. The PSK, the Gucci Time, the Saturday Night. Once he got on Jive Records, you hear a different Schoolie. So I'm always trying to keep people who are watching in the mind frame, because somebody may be like, Schoolie D, I heard that joint something about rock and roll. Like the one video he had was like some old rock and roll, and he was a wrestler or he was a boxer. And that's not the Schoolie we talking about. Like if you haven't heard PSK Schoolie, go watch The King of New York. Go watch that movie. Schoolie all throughout that whole movie. The whole soundtrack is basically Schoolie D. Go listen to PSK, Saturday Night, and Gucci Time. That's the Schoolie we talking about. So I'm always trying to stay in the mind frame of somebody watching who could be like, oh, I only remember the video from Schoolie D, and that shit was corny. What y'all talking about? He influenced. We ain't talking about the Jive Record Schoolie D. Right. You know what I mean? We talking about the PSK, the Parkside Killers Schoolie D on them 12 inches that was yellow with the graffiti, with the cartoon writing on the Schoolie D. If you haven't heard that Schoolie D, that's the Schoolie D y'all got to understand that we talking about. Malik, who you got for your slept on rappers?
Man, you guys hit on so many good ones, man. I mean, I think Steady is slept on, yo. Steady B is just a slept on.
I agree.
I just think, I mean, he was dope when he came out. Like his flow, his style, his charisma. He had confidence. You know what I mean? He knew how to make a song. Like it was just like Steady was a dope MC. You know what I'm saying? I think people sleep on it. I think the song New York is slept on by Corrupt. And the reason why I think the song is slept on because I think Corrupt did this to diss New York MCs personally because he was from Philly. Because during this period of time, New York slammed the door on Philly MCs. Yep. He wasn't trying to give a guy a right. So that's why Corrupt, like, damn, I went to the West Coast. Now he went to the West Coast because of some family stuff. Right. So he was still rapping in Philly, and like Philly MCs couldn't at that point in time kick down the door. So you got a Philly MC who went to the West, connected with some boys who ain't nothing, who Philly, you would think that Philly and New York would have a stronger bond, but at that time, we didn't. Boom, he goes out West, comes out and says, listen, I got the New York thing. Trust me, I know just what to do with these dudes. And like New York was all about his animus as a Philly MC that got 1,000 miles.
Great point.
And I can't break through right next door.
Great point.
He said, tonight I'm killing 2,000 MCs. Like that shit was for everybody in New York. That had nothing to do with nobody else except for Philly and New York. And I think it's the undertone of that song. I think people sleep on it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a real. I think that song right there. I think people try to make fun of it, but yo, man, like that was some shit. Like yo, guys came down, kicking down the buildings. They was just disrespecting New York and corrupt a Philly cat delivered the message. I was.
Yep.
It made me proud.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, so who else you got?
Because the third thing that slept on in Philly is, Rough House Records. You know what I'm saying? It's slept on. Pop art is slept on. Slept on.
Hold on, we gonna get there, good brother.
You
We
know
gonna get there.
like,
You talking about?
It's slept on.
Y'all know me. Y'all know me. I'm the hip hop bookworm. I'm the hip hop bookworm. You got right there. Rough House Records. For folk out there who don't know about Rough House. Oh, I got you with a list. I'm the hip hop bookworm, man. I got all my hip hop books right here. I got you. But right here, I ain't even sparked this. I just got this in the mail. Chris Schwartz, Rough House Records. For people who don't know, out of Philly, the Fugees, Cypress, and Crisscross was their main three groups out of Philly. So yeah, we gotta talk about pop art, Malik. As soon as we get through the slept on MCs. I'm going into pop art.
I think the number one thing that slept on is Philly's impact on the influence on like the music. Like when my man said 100X, it just brought me like, damn, like before the Woo! These jokers used to actually come to a party with 100 cats, 10 of them rapping, just killing, just acting wild. Right? For the Woo. And it's like
they was from
people see the Woo.
They was from
like, where have I seen this before? I'm like, shit, my man said 100X. I'm like, oh my god.
All right, Malik. Where was 100X out of? Where was they from?
Where were they?
When they were Susquehanna?
Like
North Philly, right?
North Philly, right?
I don't know if it was Susquehanna, but it was North Philly.
I know they're definitely from North Philly.
I know a couple of them. I went to barber school with one of the boys that was in it. I think they from like around Susquehanna, like 16th and Susquehanna, from around that way. I think. It was a while ago, but I know they from down north, from down there in Susquehanna.
I mean, Tough Crew is slept on.
Tough Crew.
Like Tough Crew is slept on.
My part of town, baby.
My part of town is like that's just a beautiful song. Like you can play it now and people go, who are these cats? Like that shit is fun.
But the funny thing is, we saw that we was Ram Squad. I knew Ram a little bit, but I was more up.
There's my label mates. There's my label mates.
Yeah.
I like the
Ram Squad was dope.
The boy backs. I think he was like the best one in that joint.
Yeah, and Backs is still writing. He's still writing. He send me Jones all the time.
So I just like voice on the genre is just underrated. And just on a new tip, like my young boy now, my man D Bills, Kill producer covers. I think he's just a step on MC in the city. I mean, he got
D Bills is nasty.
I know.
Kills did a couple drinks, so I like to support my young but Bills is nice. On the young guys is out now, he's kind of stepped on. So, but but
he from West Oak Lane.
Yeah, he from around the corner from me. He from right off of
West Oak Lane.
Forest. Yeah, he from Forest. Trey, who you got for your slept on MCs?
Oh man,
we named everybody.
Yeah, we it's the home of the spitters, but I want to give a shout out to RJ Payne right now.
I was gonna talk about
who's not slept on anymore. Not slept on anymore, and it's about time. You know what I'm saying? But he been doing it. People don't know he been doing this for 10 years, man. Longer than that. You know what I'm saying? Him, Enes, another spitter, Reed Dollars. Philly Swain, you know what I mean? Like, we could go on and on with this, man. It's a bunch of them, man. It's a bunch of cats in Philly that'll bite your head off. St. Basil, my man from North Philly, that boy crazy too. You know what I mean?
Here's a crazy thing. I remember Kiss was talking, and Jada was talking about he had been, around the world. He said, "Yo, the best spitters, Philly,
all day."
I heard him say
who got the best spitters? He was like, "Philly do." Like he ain't even think about it. Yeah, he ain't even think about it. He was like Philly. Like it ain't even no joke.
And the beautiful thing about Philly, is it's like whatever you want. Like what flavor you want. You want that street gutter? We got that. You want the artsy scene? We got that. You want the, you know what I'm saying, the cat like me that's just your everyday, you know what I mean? Like 9 to 5 doing it, we got that too. whatever you need,
Right.
whatever you want, whatever level you want to take it on. That we got that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's funny, Malik, because you talk about the chip that we had on our shoulder from New York shutting the door on that. I felt like that actually made us doper. You know what I mean? We may not be the home of the spitters if New York was like all opened arms, like, yo, come on in. What you gonna say, Trey?
But people don't understand how far back this New York Philly thing goes. I don't know if
Go
y'all
back
remember.
far.
I don't know if you remember this record. Lady B did. It was a crew of them, but it was
remember
called "It Ain't New York," because Philly is stepping in. We
No!
going back.
I think I
We
remember
going back to 1982. You know what I'm saying? We're going back to
I think I remember
1983.
Oh, yo.
That was like an anthem. Like that. Like they've been, trying to kick us to the curb for the longest, and we broke down the door with the DJ shit. But this whole illusion that just because New York is right here, that you think you better than us, dog. We took it back to that. We made records about this
What about
long before they, you know what I mean? The disrespect came on a national level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yo, listen, I was at a high school basketball game. My man coach Martin Luther King High School, right? So I'm sitting there and we talking about hip hop. So there's a boy sitting there. He was like, yeah, back in the day, I battled Big Daddy Kane after midnight. So I'm like, what? So he was like, yo, next time you come, I'm gonna give you a CD of it. It's a boy named Jazz Fresh. He from down South Philly. I got the CD of him battling Kane after midnight. You actually could kind of like type it into YouTube. I think if you type in Jazz Fresh versus Big Daddy Kane, and he battled Kane. This was like when After Midnight was on. I was a kid, but I listened to.
After Midnight was the spot I always wanted to go to. When I was
I know. I was like shitting on.
You get tired of listening to Steady B. I mean, Lady B, and being like, yeah, such gonna be an After Midnight. Like, fuck, I can't go.
Right.
Everybody was coming through After Midnight.
I snuck in that joint.
But just to build off of what he said is a long history of Philly versus New York.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I want to shout out my homegirl on Twitter is @CarrieK345. She actually was the one who said, "Kill, have you ever done a show about the history of the Hilltop Hustlers and all that?" And I said, nah. I said, let's do this. So here's a quick 2-minute synopsis of everything that I found out in the past 72 hours that I thought I knew everything, and I ain't know shit because I really started diving in. So when you think of the Hilltop Hustlers, number one, you got to start with Lawrence Goodman. LG the teacher. You know what I'm saying? Everything kind of comes up under him. LG started Pop Art Records. That's what Malcolm was talking about earlier with Pop Art and Rough House. People don't notice. The first thing on Pop Art was this dude, Eddie D, Cold Cash Money, and Roxanne Shantae's Roxanne's Revenge. Yeah. Because the problem is Marley, they couldn't get deals up in New York City.
Right.
So they came down to Philly. And that's how. So if you got a 12-inch of Roxanne's Revenge, it's on Pop Art Records. That's out of Philly. You know what I mean? Now the wild part that happened is when Marley eventually went back to and Ty Williams, who owns Cold Chillin'.
Fly Ty. He went to Howard, by the way. Really? Went to Howard, Philly. Yeah, Fly Ty went to Howard.
Fly Ty right here.
Yeah, he graduated in 83 or something like that, 84, but he went to Howard.
Okay.
This book right here, The Bid, Going Off, all about Cold Chillin' Records. This book right here is a must-have for anybody. I ain't take notes in a book like this since I was in college. You will read this book and learn so much about the Juice Crew. Fly Ty will tell you there is no Cold Chillin' Records without Pop Art Records because he wasn't in the mindset, but LG put him there. Now, the thing about LG, they said LG was on some Suge Knight shit before Suge Knight. Like, he was like a bully in Philly. You know what I mean? So once they left, once Shantae and them left to go start Cold Chillin' and all that, they started coming at New York's next. So they signed LG's nephew, Steady B. And Stead's joint was a response for people who out there who are young. Back in the 80s, hip hop was all about responses. LL had radio out, so Steady B came out with "I'll Take Your Radio."
Say it.
You know what I mean? So that's what started Pop Art and everything like that. And I didn't even notice. I had to find this that Steady B and Shantae actually had a song together called Fly Shantae. Wow. I didn't even know that joint. Wow. I didn't even know. I had it on YouTube. Now, the I'll Take Your Radio eventually got Stead a deal with Jive Records. So then Stead's off over there. Then Cool C got signed to Pop Art Records. His first joint was Juice Crew Disc. The reason he came out with Juice Crew Disc was again because Marley and them went back to New York to start Cold Chillin' and left Pop Art. So that's where Juice Crew Disc came from. And the B-side to that was one of my favorite Philly songs. If you're not from Philly, you may have never heard this, but one of my favorite Philly songs ever is Cool C's Down to the Gristle. That was crazy. They were scratching up that old it's not Chill Rob G, it's Groove Be Chill. It ain't nothing like hip hop music. Oh my God. Down to the Gristle was crazy. Then from that, Cool C got signed to Atlantic. Next up on Pop Art Records was 3 Times Dope. Their original 12-inch was called Crushin' and Bussin' with Cool C. Because he came with Cool C. I'm not here to play. I'm just here with something to say about the Crew 3D, Chuck Nice, Woody Wood, and ESC. With the Hilltop Gang. But see, that's some Philly shit. Only Philly people probably know that. Then that got them their deal on Arista. So the way Pop Art worked, is like Pop Art was like the launch label. It was like, yo, you start on Pop Art, we put out 1 or 2 12-inches, then a major picks you up. So then from that, basically, Tat, I'm gonna try to put the link in. I found this dope interview with Tat Money, like 4 pages. This interview had me up till 4 a.m. reading this interview. Like number one, they said Tat was one of the first people who was talking to Wood from from 3D about like money not being right. You know what I mean? So that's why eventually 3D left the Hilltop Hustlers. So around that time, you also had Cool C come out with The Glamorous Life. And if you remember that in The Glamorous Life, the girl like, oh, when I was with the nut boy EST, he ain't give me nothing. You know what I mean? And for people who ain't from Philly, calling a nigga a nut, that's like the ultimate disrespect. That's two words.
That's rumbling words.
That's rumbling words. That's rumbling words.
It is very disrespectful. I've lived in New York, Atlanta, Baltimore. I've been all over. I've never heard nobody use the word pussy like Philly. You know what I mean? Like that boy pussy or he a nut. Those are 2 words that's rumbling words. Those are the 2 words.
Those rumbling words.
Right. So Cool C saying, yo, when I was with that nut EST, he ain't give me nothing. And then if you watch the video after he say that, you see Cool C walking, and he walk on top of the 3D album cover. You know what I mean? Because LG was like, yo, go at them niggas. Instead, and Cool was like, yo, we cool with them. But again, Suge Knight say go, you go. You know what I mean? So that's where that little beef came from. And then eventually, everything, started to fall apart. We'll talk about everything with the whole thing with the cop and everything like that. But even before the cop situation in 92, once everything, because by that time, after 3D, after Stead's, I think it was his 3rd, 4th album, Going Steady, that kind of, dipped, you know what I mean? And then Cool C's 2nd album, I think Life in the Kid from the Ghetto, that didn't do nothing. Then LG went to his son, Karan, and started the Youngsters. You know what I mean? They started the Youngsters with this little something for the Youngsters. They got signed to East West, and they came out with the Aftermath with Cruise Pop. That's what most people know. The Youngsters was Cruise Pop. I always tell people this. They say Nas was the first to do it. And what I mean by the first to do it was to get the dopest producers at the time to all work on one album together. It wasn't Illmatic. It was the Aftermath. So when you and Trey, you talking about Philly, leading the way, it was the Aftermath. Because at that time, the Aftermath was produced by Premier, Heat Rock, the Beat Nuts, KG from Naughty by Nature, and Marley Marl. That's damn near the same kind of lineup Illmatic had, because those were the 5 dopest producers on the planet at that time. So when people be like, yo, Illmatic was the first to get producers out of their camp, I'm like, nah, bro, it wasn't. It was the Youngsters, the Aftermath. I'm not saying the Aftermath is doper than Illmatic. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is the Youngsters did that first. What you want to say too?
And didn't the Youngsters work with Mobb Deep too on something?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that because they did.
Hold on, and let me rewind back. Steady B worked with BDP too, right? When he got songs with KRS and one.
Serious.
All right, go ahead.
On Stead's 3rd album, Let the Hustlers Play. No. KRS produced The Undertaker and Sirius. Then he came back and did the remix for Sirius, which was crazy, which was stupid, which was bananas, which is bananas. Top 10 favorite remix of me all time. And they connected through. Yeah, and they connected because they both was on Jive Records at the time.
Yep.
And then so you got that, and then eventually, when the youngsters got dropped from East West, they came back as the Illy Philly Funksters.
Yep.
And they dropped the album called I'll Make You Famous. And that's where they had a joint called Bloodshed and War with Mobb Deep that a lot of people don't know about.
Yep.
The youngsters and Mobb Deep, Bloodshed and War. So YouTube that is crazy. And then the single for that was Verbal Glock. And then after that, Pop Art kind of, disappeared. And then we fast forward to 96. You got Cool C, Steady B. They robbed the bank. You know what I mean? Female cop, first female police officer in Philadelphia history was killed. You know what I mean? From what everybody says, Stead got caught first. He dropped dime on everybody. Cool C got caught. So Stead got life. The other boy got life. Cool C's on death row. So you know what I mean, that's essentially what happened with that. What you gonna say, Trey?
And fun fact about that is I went to school with the Goodmans and the Stewarts, who eventually changed their name to Muslim names. You know what I'm saying? Like Taji from the Youngsters went to Girard College. That's my young boy. You know what I mean? Bear Goodman. You know what I'm saying? From the Goodman family tree, like all of them, like most of them went to Girard. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm kind of connected with that from a distance in a sense that I saw all of that coming about back then. You know what I'm saying? How they were formulating this whole Pop Art situation and formulating, everything that came off and spurned from Pop Art and Goodman and LG and all of that. So just a fun fact I wanted to throw in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So that's the history of the Hilltop Hustlers. So, that's where everything came from. People were like, yo, what happened with them in 3D? What happened with it? Now, here's some fun facts I found out from Tap Money. I had no idea that Steady B and Will Smith had beef. You know what I mean?
Didn't know that
either. And the wild part is this is what happened. I didn't know this. Dana Goodman is Lawrence Goodman's brother. Dana Goodman used to manage Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Of course, Lawrence Goodman managed Steady B, so there was a little sibling rivalry there between the Goodman brothers. You know what I mean? So Steady used to always talk slick about Will and say shit like, "Oh, Will, he don't be repping Philly. He be wearing them New York Yankee hats. We be representing Philly." He was talking shit one night up on Lady B Street Beat. Tat said Will just showed up at the station. So Trey, when you was talking about let's battle right now, that's what happened. So Malik, you talking about Will Smith being a battle MC? He showed up at Power 99 and was like, "Let's battle right now." Right? And Tat said, "Yo, Will won the battle." You know what I mean? He said Will won the battle.
Will got busy. Will got busy.
But again, and that's why I said, Malik, I got you on all the Will stories. You know what I mean?
I'm not the biggest Will Smith fan. I said I'm a Will.
No. But I agree, he deserves his props.
Where he started is not where he is. Right. That's all.
They say the same thing about LL, and I be trying to tell people you don't want it with L. You don't.
Right.
You don't.
You want it with L.
Right. That versus thing. I don't think nobody could be in that versus genre. I really don't because his catalog and his music is too long, and he can go in different zones. I don't think nobody can beat him. Yeah, not Jay-Z. I don't think
I stopped all that. I stopped all that conversation.
Yep. I don't think none of them can beat him. I was on Twitter going back and forth with people like, yo, y'all tripping. Like
but the thing is, but here the wild part too, and I always tell people with Twitter, I'm starting to make niggas show me your ID. Take a picture of your motherfucking driver's license. We have a conversation. Because I done been in conversation with boys. I be in conversation with boy. One boy was like, he said something to me about somebody, and I'm like, boy, how old are you? He's like, I'm 22. I'm like, motherfucker, what I look like? Nigga, you could be my son. I look like arguing with somebody who's my son. Yeah, like, what do I look like arguing with my son? Yeah.
I'll be saying kill
but the wild part is he said, Tat said they battled a second time because Steady was like, nah, I gotta come back. But he said by that time, Will was so big, Will got him again. You know what I mean? So you know, like that was the thing. So when people be like, you know, because again, if you don't know, you may think, oh, Steady B versus Will Smith, that's gonna be a wrap. Steady got that. Nah, that's Will too. And we was talking before, y'all can see that. That's the Mikey D versus Steady B joint. We talking about Philly versus New York. For people who don't know, Mikey D was an ill MC out of Queens. Yep. And when Large Professor left Main Source, Mikey D was the one who came in and did that second album. I think it was called Fuck What You Heard with Main Source. So it's always been that Philly, New York, you know what I mean? That little back and forth and everything like this. But tell me about this. When you think of Philly, like what is the culture of Philly to y'all? You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, like when I think of Philly, it's like, first thing always come to mind to me is haircuts. You know what I mean? Like when I just think about Philly, I think of when that around 1990 when the dark fade came in, that just took the whole barbering game to a whole another level. You know what I mean? And that's why I wanted Toot in because Toot is easily top 5 out of Philly, and Philly got a billion crazy barbers. You know what I mean? So like you know,
like the Philly barbering scene is similar to the Philly rap scene. Like
right.
Like, you go any corner and get a nice one. But what influenced me to cut hair is the boxes, like the box and the high top fades. They were done different here in Philly. They were more neat. They were done neat and more defined, more sharp. Like the Philly culture to me with everything is about being sharp and being the best at it. I'm talking about from haircut, clothes, food. I'm talking about all these things. Like all these things represent Philly, like being fly, being fresh, being that bull and being the standout. Like I could spot in your slang got to be on point. You can't be like talking all like soft. You got to have some kind of swagger with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I done been all over the country cutting. I can spot a Philly nigga. I'm just
a mile away.
A mile away.
Right.
and they could be in that town for 10, 15 years, and they the man there because everybody just like they style. Like the culture here is about being fly, man, being the best and being competitive, and we grimy at the same time. So like that's what I get out of the Philly culture. You know what I mean?
Right. Malik, what you think? When you think Philly, what's the first thing that come to mind for you?
I mean, Toot just said it about as well as you could possibly say it. I mean, that was just perfect. But I'm just saying, when I think of Philly culture, it's everything Toot said. It's like, you know, we pretty much set the standard for men's grooming in terms of being in hip hop. Like, you know, we was like, I remember when I was in college, like Cat used to, he's like, I went to a Philly barbershop and boy was getting his nails done, and it's like, yo, but now, you know, everybody is getting, you know, they want their joints tight. You see, you know what I mean? Everybody, like,
facials.
They nails done at the barber shops. Everything's super sharp, everything's shaped. The whole beard. Philly boys beards for what, like 15, 20 years? Because the Muslim culture in Philly is so fierce. Like, the beard is all
before that.
Has been always a part of our culture here, and like you know, now everybody has just adopted it. Like, so, everybody, you know,
it's crazy you say that, Malik, because there was a time, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, if I saw a boy with a beard, I'd be like, "Yo, what part of Philly you from?" And you knew it. You'd be able to just see from the beard, where now you can't do that no more. You know what I mean? Because everybody, my sister live in Harlem. Like, oh, everybody got beards now. You know, but there was a time when you just knew. Beijing, all that shit. All that shit. Right. You know what I mean? All of that shit is Philly. Trey, what about you? When you think of Philly culture, you've been around the world. What do you think?
Well, the thing that stands out to me, like I said, being the elder statesman, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm saying y'all saw all this though. Like, I remember fashion back then. I remember Paul Murray's. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
like the tapered jeans. Like, they wasn't rocking them Jones nowhere else.
Yo, you getting me mad, man?
You know what I mean? I remember Alpinas. You know what I mean? They wasn't doing that nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Too. The Neil Styles, like, they wasn't doing all of that nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I'm going in my bag a little bit. But these are the things that set us apart. It was those, like, they was rocking the flat tops in New York. We was doing the round Jones. You know what I'm saying? That's how you could tell it was high, but it was more rounded. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like that's the distinction between Philly and everywhere else. Everywhere else adopted what New York was doing. With Philly, we always went to the left. We said, okay, we're gonna add a little flavor to this joint right here. You know what I mean? I see what y'all doing, but nah, you gonna know we from here. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the things that stand out in addition to what y'all said. Matter of fact, what was crazy to me and how the culture shifted in Philly was, like you said, we was all clean cut. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had the polos and all that other stuff on. You know what I mean? But when I came out, I was the first before AI to start rocking braids, which again goes to how Philly was, because I kind of came in when I left and came back and came a little different. Then when AI comes in, then you see the culture shift in Philly and everybody start rocking the braids and everybody getting grimy and everybody. But before that, you know what I'm saying? When you start talking about JBM, when you start talking about JBM and the real hustlers and the real like gorillas, they was clean. They was clean.
Right.
On the
gorillas was clean. You know what I mean? Like the ones you didn't want to mess with on the corner, they was clean. So that's what Philly's about.
And the funny thing is, even when niggas is grimy, they still got dope shape up. Like that's the hard part. Like you know, you still got
you
can be fresh.
Was ones and your shape up is tight and you good. You can talk to anybody.
Yeah, I mean,
right. Like you good money. It's funny, Malik. Going back to this album cover, a lot of people don't know that. You know, we always talk about Run DMC. They deal with Adidas, but we don't talk about Jazz Jeff and Fresh Prince. They deal with Lecoq Sportif, French sneakers. Right. You know what I mean? And that's what they got on right here. So again,
Lecoq Sportif.
Lecoq Sportif. You know, cats don't even know about that. You know, let me ask y'all this, because it's the number one question I'm asked everywhere I go as soon as they find out I'm from Philly. What is y'all number one Philly cheesesteak spot in the city? You know, give me your top three. Give me your top three, Malik. What you got?
The first, my number one spot, I don't even like saying it because I don't eat pork. So I really feel bad saying this joint. But it's this spot in South Philly called John's Roast Pork.
I heard of that.
They make the best steak in Philly.
John's Roast Pork. I ain't never been there. I gotta write that down.
I heard it. My man Doug told me about them.
I don't mess with pork. It's like I don't even go there. I don't even like tell. I don't even want to say this. Like you gotta delete this part of the. You can only skip this information if you say it live. You don't get this. You know, you gotta delete this part of the podcast.
All right. So give me the joint that you want to shout out there.
D'Alessandro's, you can. It's most times it's good. It's been just dropped a little bit because I think some of the younger cats is doing it now. But the old Italian boys used to run that during this time. And what's another? And listen, Escobillos used to be just immaculate. It was incredible, but especially when we was coming up. You want to talk about real nostalgia coming up? Escobillo cheesesteak, cheese like cheese fries, a gremlin, like that was spot. You know what I'm saying? You just want to go from a nostalgia standpoint. Like that was great. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like those are my real three, right?
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. No doubt. You said my number one. D'Alessandro's is my number one. My number two is this spot, Mama's in Belly Kenwood. If you on City Line Avenue, right where you get to where that Applebee's is, bust the right, go down a mile. It's right there on your right. It's called Mama's Pizzeria in Ballard Kenwood. Don't know. You know who put me onto that? Chucky Go-Go. Chucky Go-Go. 3D Crew. Yeah, Chucky Go-Go put me on. My man Jason used to dance for Lara in high school. And my man Patrice, they used to dance for Lara, and he took me there one night. Mama's is stupid, man. They had this Stromboli. I don't know if they do it anymore, but when we was in high school, you would have to order the Stromboli at 10 in the morning to be ready by 8 o'clock at night, and it would feed like 12 people. Like, yeah, that joint was like that. That's Mama's. And then my number three is Max's. I love Max in North Philly, down Broad area. The only thing, ever since that joint was in Creed, it's like a fucking 2-hour wait, man. I went there on like a Thursday night, and it was like an hour wait. I'm like, it's a goddamn Thursday night. Like, you gotta go to work tomorrow. So, but those are my three. Trey, what you got? What's your number one? What's your spots in Philly?
Max's, of course, man. I like you said before the movie. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that was my spot. Like, that was my. yo, Norm, you know what I mean? That was my cheers.
Right,
I walk in
right.
there, everybody knew my name and all that, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
yeah, so that was my joint. Paganos, and I'm gonna go Jim's out west. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Jim's out West Philly was awesome.
Yeah, Jim's out.
West
And I,
Philly.
yeah, exactly. And I gotta give a special shout out to Lee's Hoagie House too. Like back in the day, I used to hit that joint.
Yeah, back in the day,
You know
Lee's
what I mean?
Hoagie House was the spot.
Yeah,
The spot.
yeah.
Yeah. Now Pagano's used to be in my top 3, but the last 2 times I went home, they wasn't that good.
But
I
see-
was disappointed.
And I'm a vegan now, so it's been 3 years, so I ain't had a cheese
Right,
stick in a
right.
minute. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah.
Yeah. What you got too? Which is you right there on the ground. You all you know. So where you at?
I'm with Max's,
Mhm.
Delisandro's. It used to be Explorers Den before they remodeled.
Ooh.
By LaSalle, yeah.
By LaSalle.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
yes, sir.
and I gotta give a shout out to this other spot. It's called Castor Pizza on Castor Avenue. I'm trying to tell you,
Mm.
it's on
I gotta write
Castor
that down.
Avenue.
Castor Pizza.
Castor Pizza. All right.
Mm.
Okay.
Yo,
As soon as we all
They cheesesteak. I'm telling you, it's top 5 for me in the city. And I'm just
Oh, I'm going, bro. As soon as we off punishment, and I can get back up to the crib, I'm definitely checking out Castor's Pizza. Yo, one thing I wanted,
Yeah,
one thing
I used to love Paganos.
yeah, Pagano's was my shit. I mean, I live right there, but it was like I said, the last 2 times I went home, I was kind of disappointed. Like, damn. But yeah, Pagano. I used to have dreams of being a rapper. And Fab Five Freddy coming to interview me, and I take him to Pagano's. Like that was like my dream, like in high school. It's like
That's good. That's good.
Let's go
That's good. That's good.
Like that was my dream.
Right.
Now we talk about how Philly has shifted the culture. The one thing, and I stand on this: Philly has the dopest fucking DJs.
All day.
You know,
yeah.
I've argued, and to me, I don't want to argue opinions, argue facts. Here's the thing: Jeff, Cash, and Miz all went to the New Music Seminar, all won the belt. You know what I mean? Now, I will say this, that the Bay Area has taken DJing to another level.
Right.
But Philly, we took it to another, like Flash and them did DJing, and then we took it to another level
Right.
with Jeff, Cash. People forget about Tat Money.
Tat.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? People forget about Code Money with Smoothie D. You know what I mean? People forget about Miz and Fresco. Miz is from West.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We took it to another level. And then the Bay Areas, the Invisible Scratch Pickles and all of that, they doing their thing. DJ Babu and Qbert and all them, they took it to another level. But Philly to me, if you ask Qbert and them, they'll give it to Jeff. They'll give it to Cat. That's what we got. That's one of the biggest things to me that we held firmly on, especially in the 80s and the 90s. Because here's the thing. I told people on them Fresh Fest tours, wasn't nobody fucking with Jeff. Nobody fucking with Jeff.
Nope.
Eric B wasn't fucking with Jeff.
Nope.
Polo wasn't fucking with Jeff.
Nope.
Terminator X wasn't fucking with Jeff.
Nope.
Spinderella wasn't fucking with Jeff.
Nope.
Jam Master Jane wasn't fucking with Jeff.
Nope.
Mr. C wasn't fucking with Jeff.
No.
So I'm just
Nope.
going down the list of all the DJs during the golden era of hip hop was not
Yep.
fucking with Jeff.
Even Grandmaster D. And Grandmaster D was nice. He couldn't even see Jeff. He wasn't even in the realm of Jeff.
Right. And you,
Jeff was
Grandmaster,
different.
we could go to UTFO with Mixmaster
Ice,
Ice.
he
in
was
the
nice.
uniform.
And he was nice.
And
But he wasn't even in
fucking
the
with
yeah.
Jeff.
He wasn't even yeah.
Fucking with Jeff. You know what I mean? So when I just ran through everyone, anybody, well, people want to say Eric B. and Rakim, again, Eric B. wasn't. You want to talk about Kane? Mr. C wasn't.
You know,
G-Rap, Polo wasn't. We could go through all your favorite rappers, their DJs during that era.
Not even
you
close.
Could give Jazzy, and that's why Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff put on such a dope show because Jeff Prince will come out and do his thing.
Control
give
the crowd.
Jeff 10 minutes. Give Jeff 10 minutes on the joint. Get Ready Rock C, who we don't talk about enough, to give some beatboxers some love. Ready Rock C. People don't remember from the Rock the House album when that nigga did Sanford and Son Underwater. That motherfucker was beatboxing underwater. Or when Jeff and Will would do Donkey Kong and Ready Rock C would do the whole joint of Donkey Kong beatboxing. I'll go even deeper. I'll pull some shit out the crates right here.
What was the name of the dances? What was the name of the dances?
The two hype dancers.
Yeah.
The two hype dancers. This nigga right here, Rozelle, with the Roots. People
Rozelle.
forget about Rozelle with the Roots. Like, yo, it's so much culture in Philly. I want to shout out some people who I swore was from Philly my whole life. Not my whole life, but when I was growing up, because they got so much love on 99. They from South Jersey, YZ.
Ooh.
In control of things.
Ooh.
Tower with power.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? YZ, the
Listen,
Crown Rulers.
About to say the original Grand Poobah. The original Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah was from Trenton, New Jersey, in a group called the Crown Rulers. To kick the ball, and they got so much spin on Street Beat. I thought they was from Philly.
Thank you.
Yep.
I thought they were
the ball.
I thought Poobah was from Camden. He's from Trenton. I thought he's from Camden. Yeah, he's from Camden. Yeah.
No, that's right.
Yeah, he's from Camden. He's from Camden.
And then also Poor Righteous Teachers. They got a lot of love, and they from
they from Trenton. Yep, they
from over the bridge. But definitely that, and just some shout outs, and we could go around just anybody I missed. Yo, shout out DJ Spinbad, who was the original person who invented the Transformer cut. Me and my man, Left Hand from the Bronx, was going back and forth on Twitter about who invented the Transformer cut. And I'm like, look, my nigga, if you wasn't there, nobody knows. So what I'm going to just say is this.
Spinbad.
Cash said he learned it from Spinbad.
Spinbad.
You know what I mean?
That's
learned
facts.
It from Spinbad.
That's facts.
KD Dragon.
Old scratch tapes I was talking about.
Yeah, this is Steady B's OG DJ on Bring the Beat Back. He is supposed to be the first person who did it on wax. I went back and listened to it. It's Transformer-ish. You know what I mean? But again, the first time I heard the Transformer was on Jazzy Jeff's The Magnificent Jazzy Jeff.
Right.
That's the first time I heard somebody say, yo, Jeff, transform.
Right.
You know what I mean? So from that, but I want to give shouts to KD Dragon. I want to give shouts out to Ice Cream Tea. People may not remember she had the answer record. The Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble. Called Guys Ain't Nothing But Trouble.
Yes.
We talked about the Tough Crew and DJ Too Tough. We talked about Muhammadiyah. Yvette Money. People don't remember Yvette Money. Okay? She had a joint out on 4th and Broadway. People don't remember this. LL had a joint called Dare Yvette on radio. And she had the answer record called
That's my homie.
So you got Yvette Money. I gotta shout out Cash Money and Marvelous.
Oh, you got
Cash Money and Marvelous right there. Where's the party at? All the ugly people be quiet.
Yes.
You find the ugly woman and make it your wife. And I want to say this because for years I used to always be like, they was a broke Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince. They was a knockoff Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince. I had to check myself. I had an epiphany a couple of months ago. I said, I got to check myself because I don't know who was first. Jazzy Jeff and Will may have blown up first, but I don't know who was first in the streets. What's up, Too?
Right.
I think Marvelous used to rap with Jazzy Jeff though first. I'm not mistaken. I think Marvelous and Jazzy Jeff was a duo before Fresh Prince came in. And Fresh Prince, I think Marvelous ain't make a party or something, and Fresh Prince lived next door to where the party was, and the person was like, "Oh, my man next door could do it." And he came down and held the party down with Jazzy Jeff.
I heard that story. Yep,
wow.
I just didn't know it was Marvelous.
I think it was Marvelous. No, or it might have been somebody else, but I know at one point Marvelous and Jazzy Jeff was a team. At one point, it might have been a short moment, but he did do parties with Jazzy Jeff. I used to get them scratch tapes from my cousin, them old school scratch tapes. Like you had to be there, and you had to know somebody to get it. They record it, and the DJ like Spinbad, the people you name it, Spinbad, Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, and them, and they all be on one tape, scratching and transforming and stuff. So I know Marvelous rap with Jeff at one.
They was essentially around the same time, man. They was the same. They was around the same time. I don't think you can like be distinctive as far as who came first, because like he said, you know what I mean. Like Toot said, it was really a convolution. You know what I'm saying? So you know,
right. I just knew growing up, it was like, okay, you got a dope DJ and you got like this silly rapper. You know what I mean? So to me,
it was like, you know what it was like?
But the only reason why I don't want to call him a knockoff is because, again, maybe Jeff and Will just got, because keep in mind they were signing Sleeping Bag Records,
Yep.
which is actually a house. Sleeping Bag was a house label back in the day. They had joints like Nocera, Summertime, and what was his name, Jocelyn Sims or Joyce Sims or something. So there's no way you're gonna blow up on Sleeping Bag going up against Job. So that's the only reason why I said I don't want to call them a knockoff, because
one made it, one didn't.
Right.
One made it, one didn't. And that's essentially
that's essentially what happened. Right. Right. So those are the people I would shout out. Yeah, Malik, you got any shout outs? Anybody I missed? Any Philly hip hop artists or love anything?
Really, I just want to give a shout out to my man Toucan Sam, who runs the Glockaware shop.
Glockaware.
And I just want to give a shout out to him, because basically what he does and what he's been doing now for like the last 25 years is giving hip hop artists a platform to rap on the radio. So when the radio shuts everything down, about 10 years ago, Toucan developed Glockaware Radio. It was an online, underground hip hop radio station in Philly. So when you couldn't get on Power 99 or you couldn't get on DES, you couldn't find your way on radio, Toot developed an online internet station for underground MCs to get on, to get interviewed, and just to go through the test run of what it's going to be like, and being in the biz. And I just want to give a shout out to the Glockaware crew and to my man Toucan Sam, who always been showed me a ton of love. And I do my podcast on that platform as well, the Blitzman Podcast. Shameless plug, no doubt.
All right.
Ain't never no shameless
man.
plug.
You gotta plug that. You gotta plug that.
And no doubt, shout out to Glockaware too, because when we did a Philly app live there, Malik and my man AJ put that together, and they came in. Let's use the studios and everything. Another rapper I forgot that, but a lot of people don't remember. Han Soul. He had this joint called Imagination out in the day.
I got a Han Soul story. All right, so
what's your Han Soul story?
Trey Lee, you might know my man. You know my man Troy White?
Absolutely. With the Howard. Absolutely. Yeah. That's my guy, man. That's my OG. That's Big Bro.
That's Big Brother right there. Right. So he's living in Kenya right now. So
absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So Troy used to work with Sony.
Yep.
As a young man, he did really well in the music industry. I actually used to try to model myself, behind him. Like I said, he's a mentor of mine. At any rate, he managed this guy named Han Soul out of Philly. And Han Soul was a little bit before his time in terms of, what people was trying to hear. You know what I mean? He was
like he would have fit in perfect around that Roots to live most times. He would have been that's his bag.
Or even a time around the Black Lily. So when we can't see
Black Lily.
The Black Lily.
I got that. It's coming, good brother. You know me. I got you. We got that coming.
Han Soul. I forgot his single. What was his single again?
It was
called Imagination. It was called Imagination.
Yeah.
Bad John. But yeah, I knew his manager Troy White. That's my man. I remember when Han Soul he got the deal. I remember when Troy put the song in the car, and I said, Troy, you think it's gonna work? I said, listen, I said I like it, but I don't know if for when the times was moving with the NWA and how everything was going during that time. I didn't know if Han could crack through at the time. But yeah, Han Soul was one of the guys who got signed to it. Right.
In another joint, they out of Jersey, but we showing South Jersey love. People may not remember this. I Go Rambo.
Oh,
Nicky Rapping Scratch. Nicky Rapping Scratch. I Go Rambo. Philly, what I'm talking about. Right. Trey, anybody we left out? Any DJs, anything?
I mean, got to give a shout out to Cosmic Kev. You know what I'm saying? Because Cosmic Kev has stood the test of time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's an OG. You know what I mean?
He ain't like, just an OG.
He's a quadruple OG, and he's still doing it on a high level today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I got to give a shout out to him. I want to give a shout out to Jewel T and Dollar Bill.
Dollar Bill.
Ride the Crossfade.
Ride the
Yep.
That's a Philly state. Like this is the early LL days. This is 84,
Right,
85, where it sounded like that. It got that sound. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's kind of rapping like that. But that's a Philly boy. You know what I mean? So I want to give a
$10 bill.
yeah, I mean, and I want to Malika Love. I want to give a shout out to Malika Love as well.
I remember that
Also-
name.
Yeah, absolutely. MC, female, like you're talking about late 80s, you know what I mean? Serious with it. But I also want to give a shout out to the culture, since we're talking about the culture. So I want to give a shout out to City Blue. I want to give a shout out to
City
Funko.
Blue.
I want to give a shout out to Funko Mark. Sound the market. Gotta give a shout out. You know what I'm saying?
Sound of G-Town.
You know what I'm saying? The G-Town.
Yeah.
I Goldberg. You know what I mean? I go get the fresh tips from I Goldberg. Want to get, you know what I mean? Like this is the Mitchell and Ness. We giving a shout out to the culture. This is all Philly right here. You dig me?
Plateau to the Greek picnic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Plateau.
To Plateau.
Plateau.
This is hip hop. This is hip hop in Philly.
Like y'all touched on, summertime, top 50 song ever.
Absolutely.
Ever.
I mean,
You know,
Absolutely.
summertime will still be getting played. Yeah, that never get old. And it's like at the end of the day,
every year.
right at the end of the day, like and I had everybody asking me, "Yo, Kill, where the Plateau at? Or take me through the Plat." You know what I mean? After Will said it, it was like a place called the Plateau is where everybody go. Like everybody was like, "Yo, where the Plat? Where the Plat?" So
No doubt.
anybody we missed out? Any shouts you want to give out to any Philly
Man.
hip hop artists?
Man, y'all hit everybody per se. But like Trey said, I'm just gonna give a shout out to the culture, man. Without Philly culture, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I'm talking about all around the board. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've been influenced by a lot of different people. So I could sit here and name all night, but for the main part, just the Philly culture, man. I just want to give a shout out to everybody that touched the culture, helped the culture, you know what I mean? Grew the culture, old, new, young, you know what I mean? I'll just give a shout out to everybody, man. I don't really got nobody to single out.
No doubt.
And this is why I love how God works, because that's the perfect segue into what I want to talk about before we end this, just about everybody who's helped the culture grow. And one group I want to shout out is the Roots. You know what I mean? And we talked about them earlier, but you know, with Trey, when you was talking about Cosmic Kev, I'm like, at this point, he's a foundation. He's a pillar. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's where Cosmic Kev is. He's a pillar. Lady B was a pillar. You know, to me now the Roots are a pillar of Philadelphia hip hop. And we were talking about this before we started, because when I left to go to Morgan in '92, everybody in Philly was trying to go to New York to get on. By the time I graduated, 96, 97, I had boys from Morgan talking about, I'm trying to move to Philly to get on. You know what I mean? And just the shift of that really had to do with the Roots. Malik, you brought up the Black Lily. The Black Lily is what helped to birth almost all the touch of jazz, from Jill Scott to Kindred and the Family Soul to Jaguar Wright. You know what I mean? Flowetry. Like, that's all Black Lily. And that was you know, Quest and Thought's hand in pushing that Black Lily. You know what I mean? The house parties that Quest used to have at his house. You know what I mean? That where Bilal would just be in there. Like, all these Philly people, you know, and that's why I'm talking about the resurgence of Philly. Because there was a time, like I said, in Philly, you had to leave to get on. Now Philly was a hotbed where you could get on. You know, shout out to the Full Surface and Swiss Beats coming up to grab Cassidy and the Larceny family. You know what I mean? Then Rockefeller coming in, grabbing Beans, Free, all the state property. You know, the Young Guns, Chris and Neef, you know, Ochino, Sparks, Petey. You know, you got Maybach coming into town, grabbing up Neef. You know what I mean? Like, it just sparked, and I think so much of that, because a lot of people don't realize Beanie's first verse on Wax was off of Adrenaline, off of Things Fall Apart.
That's right.
That John crazy.
That's right.
That John was crazy.
When you think about that, and I remember the story that Quest said, Malik brought Beans through. You know what I mean? And the thing about that is that Beans is not no Roots type collaborator. You know what I mean? And that's why I salute the Roots, because it wasn't like, oh, well, he's not Mos Def or he's not Talib. It's like, yo, if he's nice, put him on the record. You know what I mean? Because you really wouldn't think Beans would be on, you know, a Roots album like that. What you gonna say, Malik?
I just want to tap on that, because this is how good Beans is. Because the Roots during that time, I'm not going to say hangers on, but they had a lot of guys around them. Like they had a clique, and they all thought they were going to get on the Roots album. Like eventually, like they had people with within their crew, the Foreign Objects. I think they used to call themselves
Foreign Objects. Oh, Divine Beings,
and I'm saying so. And listen, and there were some nice MCs in that clique. I'm not trying. You know what I'm saying there were some nice MCs in that clique, but Beans, as you said, like Malik brought him in, they listened to Beans and immediately put him on the album. When they were all these other guys that's in their clique here and Verses of Days coming to their studio sessions, listen to verses, Beans step in, they hear it, oh, you on the album. We're the here.
Right.
We're the odd number.
Right.
And
it's funny because, like I said, I haven't been a big Roots fan since Things Fall Apart, but for what they've done for my city, I always show people this, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Like it's so like this is my roots. This is everything that I've still purchased. Yeah, you know, because to me it's not about if I like it all the time. It ain't about that. It's about what you've done for my city. And when you look at what the Roots did for my city, they deserve all these checks. They deserve all these. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where it's to the point I got all 5 covers of Things Fall Apart. I went out and brought this 5 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to have all 5 covers.
All 5.
Just to support them for what they did for my city. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what when I talk about supporting somebody, it ain't about if you like their music all the time. You know, it's about what they've done for my city. And if it wasn't for the Roots, Philly to me wouldn't be what Philly is right now. You know what I mean? So it's like I ain't even gonna hold you. I hated this fucking album. I still brought it. It don't really matter. You know what I mean? Because it was like it don't matter if I like it or not. It's about what they've done for my city. So the bare minimum that
PSP, baby. PSP.
It's bare minimum. Trey, give them all the info. Tell them what you're doing. You talking about RJ Payne. Just, people may not even know you a lawyer now, my dude. Yeah, so tell them everything what you doing, where they can get at you and everything.
All right, man. So in case y'all don't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm still an MC, always going to be an MC, but I'm also an attorney. I'll get back to the MC part in a second, but I'm an attorney right now. I represent RJ Payne, you know what I'm saying? Man, he's doing some great things. So you can get at me at and amongst other people that come to me for services as well. But you can get at me at on Twitter at TRAYLEE Trey Lee. You can get at me on IG at Tracy Lee TRACEYLEEESQ. And you can get at me on my website Tracy Lee Music TRACEYLEE music.com, where we have music as well as merch. We got, a new sneaker line that we just launched maybe about 6 months ago. But because of the pandemic, I didn't really push it out there for a couple of months, but we're starting to, based on the response of the people, we're starting to push that back out there, supply and demand. If the people want it, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to, hit your pockets like that because I know what it is, but if you want it, it's out there. So you can go to tracyleemusic.com. And this might be the first place that I'm announcing this, but I will be dropping a single to the new album, which will be done probably in about 2 weeks, but I'm going to drop the single first sometime next week. I'm going to record. Everything is written. I'm going to record everything probably in a 2-day span, and we're just going to start leaking records from the album before we put the actual album out. But expect a new single out probably in about a week. All right. You know what I mean? All
right, now don't forget. So you still got me waiting for the Shelved album, man. I'm still waiting.
The live from the 215. I'm gonna put that out. But what happened was the pandemic, got the creative juices flowing. So I wrote this album in about 2 months. Ever since we've been, I think March 13th. Ever since then, it's been floating, and I've never written an album that fast. But it's just it just started. This is the grace of God. It just started flowing. So We here now.
Bet.
We done. So we
Bet.
about to drop.
Bet.
But I got you, Kill. I got you. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
because I'm still that live from the 215. What you talking about was the joint with the Catch 22.
Catch 22.
You said you had the young Kanye on there producing and everything like that. So I still want to hear that shelved album. Also, let them know about the IG, man. Fuck them other verses. This dude got people fighting on his verses, man. He had the other day was Janet Jackson Control versus Keith Sweat. It lasts forever. I'm like, God damn, man. You know what I mean? So tell them about that, man.
So my version of verses, which was actually before the verses that everybody knows, we compare albums. We compare classic albums. So it's not like it's a runaway competition, and we play the entire album cut for cut. We have scorecards and all that. So this is really a competition. I mean, nobody loses because they're both classics. It's just that we're introduced. First of all, we're reintroducing these albums to some people that haven't heard them in a while, right? And then we're introducing it to people that have never heard it. Like I did a battle of the day. It was Intro's debut album versus Janae's debut album. And that was a clash. That was crazy. But there was some people that never heard the Intro album. And so when they heard it for the first time, it was like, woo, what is this? R.I.P. to Kenny Green, man. Beast with the pen, wrote a lot of Mary stuff in the beginning. Beast with the voice. The album is a classic. It's a unskippable. Both of them joints. Just let it ride. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this versus is about. It's about educating people on different albums. And you may see some people pop up, like Renee popped up from Janae. You know what I'm saying? She popped up on my feed. You know what I mean? So we done had Kid Capri on there. We done had Young Guru on there. We done had Bink come in when we did the Jay-Z joint. It was Blueprint versus
I've been on there.
Oh yeah, you've been on there. Yeah. So that's what that versus is about, man. And we do it every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I just took today off because my daughter had a kindergarten graduation, but we'll be back Thursday.
Congrats on that.
No, but
now, give them everything. Let me tell y'all something about Two. A couple of years ago, I guess maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, yo, I need a barber. So I'm going through IG. I get this IG page. I was like, oh, no, I'm going to this boy right here. Like the IG off the door. You know what I mean? And I'm always picky because I'm out here in Maryland. I call this the home of where they want to push your shape up back. I feel like Maryland barbers just are taught to push your hairline back. I literally think they are taught to do this. Right?
Hold on. Before you get to Two, this speaks of the Philly barber. Since I got my braids cut, and I live in the DMV, no barber here has cut my hair other than a cat from Philly. You know what I'm saying? Even when my barber is missing, I got killed to give me a shape up. You know what I mean? Like I don't let, if you're not from Philly, I don't let you cut my hair. Period. But go ahead.
As you said.
Nah. But just one, the illest barbers, dope barber. Better than all that. Just a good all around dude. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So
I appreciate that.
Give them all the info. Where can they get at you? And it's gonna be hard to get at him. Last time I was in Philly, I couldn't get this dude be doing NFL combines. Like this dude be cutting NFL players. He be like, yo, I ain't here this week. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you can reach me on IG at Two the Barber with a DA. On Twitter, if you want to see me talk a little junk and be a little light, joke around and stuff like that, you can follow me at Two the Barber on Twitter. That's about it, man. I ain't really like be playing that celebrity barber role, but if you want to cut, just get at me. You know what I'm saying? My number posted, and I have a link where you can like book your appointment for me or whatever. That's it, man.
Hey, Two, you was about to say something. You kept saying, but when I think I said something, you was about to interject with something. What was you gonna say?
I forget, man.
Oh, you forgot?
I lost it.
Yeah.
If I get it again, no. I got it. I got what I was gonna say about your verses. I follow you on Twitter and on IG. I don't know if you know that. So I've been following your verses. I remember you did Midnight Marauders.
Yeah.
And what was it?
Low End Theory.
Low End Theory.
Oh, you went Travis.
I was kind of like, damn, he already started a civil war because it's people. People that
swear by them albums
and think that one is better than the other.
And that's why I did it.
And in my opinion, and I'm gonna just give it to you straight here.
Yeah.
Midnight Marauders is better.
No,
I think Midnight Marauders.
No!
I just think Midnight Marauders.
I'm a low-end guy.
no, I'm low end.
Better.
I'm low end.
By this
I'm a
much.
low-end
By
guy.
this much, yo.
You know,
By this
the-
much.
Where you at?
the-
By this much.
Where you at, Kim?
I'm midnight. So see, we split
Oh,
down the
I'm
middle.
Midnight.
Oh.
I'm
One
Midnight.
of those great, they both such classic albums that you can't go wrong. Like I've just learned, like Trey, you know, we getting old. I'm 46 now, bro. I don't got that energy to argue no more. Like I always tell people on the podcast, it ain't about debating music, it's about discussing it. I had a boy tell me Smooth B was the dopest rapper ever. I'm like,
Wow.
Smooth B from Nice and Smooth, but you know what? I'm not here to debate.
Right.
I just want to know why. Like that's literally all I want to do. Like now, back in those days, I wanted to argue. Like, nigga, what? Smooth B, he ain't the dopest nigga in the damn group. But at 46, dog, if you believe Smooth B is the greatest MC ever, God bless your soul. You know, I just want to know why. What did you hear Smooth B say that led you to believe that he is the greatest MC ever? You know what I mean? So that's the dope.
Smooth B.
With Tribe.
He's the best at moving the words. I know that.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you can't. And
You
here's
can't
the
go
crazy.
wrong. You can't go wrong.
Here's the crazy
Try
part. Malik,
one of my top 5 groups.
but I want to ask a question before you go. So Malik, give them everything where they get at you, the Blitzmag podcast, everything.
Yo, y'all can catch me at the Blitzman podcast on Gawker Radio. You know, we take sports, we go way, way, way beyond them. We're some smart people stay in the building. We do interviews with like anybody within the world of sports. We always say sports is a microcosm of our society. So what I try to do there is kind of like bring everything that's going on in the world and connect it to the game and sports that we all love. You can catch me on Twitter at BlitzMagPrez, BLITZPREZ. Yeah, I messed it up. BLITZMAGPREZ. BlitzMagPrez. I don't really do IG yet, but I'm still BlitzMagPrez on IG. So if you want to catch me there, you don't even see my face or anything like that. I'm still on IG. But yeah, the BlitzMag podcast.
No doubt. Before we go, real quick, I know I held y'all for 2 hours. I appreciate you, Trey. I want to get everybody back to their wives because everybody on here is married. I don't want this going away. 2 hours. Quick question. The other day, yesterday, DMX was on there with, I don't know if Fat Man Scoop or somebody, and he said something about, he said, you know, Lloyd Banks was not a lyricist. Now, the thing that I agreed with about X, because X was like, well, then give me 4 bars. Give me 4 bars. And dude couldn't do it. Then he said, fuck it, give me 2 bars. To me, I tweeted out like, look, I'm not saying Lloyd Banks ain't a lyricist. I'm just saying that if you're about to put somebody as a top lyricist or a top anybody, you got to know 4 bars. Like, you can't be like, yo, Rakim is the greatest ever. And I'm like, all right, what's your favorite?
No.
Well, for me, you
I don't
can't.
think that's fair.
That's why I wanted to ask, because the reason I thought about that again is because when my man told me Smooth B, the second he said it, you know what he did? Smooth B, notorious, glorious, right? I mean, he went right into the rhyme. Like,
I live in a fortress.
he went right into it. It was like, yo, okay, I'm with you. You can't tell me, yo, such
I
and
left
such
my
is the
Philly
GOAT.
at home. Do you have another?
Yeah, you know, exactly.
I want to
Like,
get
he
blooded,
went
my
right
brother.
and that's Smooth B. So I'm not saying like, but if it's one of your favorite, like you can't tell me Brian is the GOAT over Jordan, and then I say, well, what's the top 5 Brian moment to you? And you be like, that time he did. What you think, Trey? You think that's fair or not? You think that's fair or not?
First of all, I have to go to the base of the question, right? The base of the question is, what is a lyricist? I mean, no, that's not a rhetorical question. That's a question. What is a lyricist?
I know.
See, here's the hard part for me, Trey. I'm old. I just believe in rappers. See, I grew up in an era where everybody was a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along the line, it blended into this whole new world.
That's my point.
We come from an era where, guess what? This is what I loved about the 80 era of hip hop and why it's my golden age. This was a tour. NWA, Too Short, Big Daddy Kane, Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play. There's no way that NWA should be on tour with Kid and Play and Salt and Pepper. But it didn't matter because it was all just hip hop. everybody was a rapper. Nobody looked at Will Smith and said, "Oh, you're not an MC, you're a rapper." But guess what? Eric Sermon is a lyricist, and DOC is an MC. Somewhere along the line. So I can't even play that game when people be like, "Yo, what's the difference between this and this and that?" I don't know. I just grew up where everybody was a rapper. Everybody was the same. If you was Kwame, you was a rapper. If you was Rakim, you was a rapper. If you was Big Daddy, you was a rapper. If you was Dana Dane, you was a rapper. So,
well, this is and I'm glad you said that. Oh, I'm sorry too. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
No, I wasn't gonna say. I think the word lyricist came later, like with Black Thought, Talib Kweli, Mos Def, people like that. I think they pegged them as lyricists when rappers is rappers, and hip hop alone should be diverse. I don't think everybody should sound the same. I think it got lost when everybody started sounding the same. When you had some, go ahead.
No. I was going to piggyback off of you. I think it started. I think it started with Nas. I think Nas really. You talking about like 1994? I think that's when people started talking about lyricism and lyricists and all this other stuff, and that's where Fat Man Scoop got caught up in what he was saying. I don't think he meant, and that's why DMX countered with, okay, lyricists, like, what do you mean? I think Fat Man Scoop got caught up in people that just sound good to the ear to him because Lloyd Banks, right? Lloyd Banks, he sounds good on records. He flows, he floats, he's in the pocket. Yeah, he rides the beat. But there's a lot of times where you may not remember the stuff he says. It just sounds good. It sounds good on record. So when you start using that word lyricist, now people want to have you quote. You know what I mean? And that's where he got hung up. Yep, exactly. That's where he got hung up.
The other part too was the names that he was naming, because you're naming Rakim, you're naming KRS, you're naming Nas, and then you throw in Lloyd Banks. That's like me saying Jordan and Kareem.
Well, that's what.
Aaron McKee. You'd be like, Aaron McKee, like,
but guess what? Guess what?
From North Philly, but you said Kareem, Magic, and Aaron McKee. Like, we really and Aaron McKee, I'm so happy he's back at Temple coaching. I'm like a Temple Owls fan. But it's just also the people who you name.
The company. Yep.
But guess what? If you got the balls to say Aaron McKee, say it. But then you better be able to say, man, that time in the finals when Aaron McKee had to lock down Tyronn Lue and woo. If you want to throw a name out there,
exactly.
Yeah, be prepared to back up while you're throwing that name out there, because somebody is going to call you out on, wait a second, one of these people don't belong in this conversation. So you better be able to back up while you saying it. And
I'm gonna say this. And a lot of
times people just talk out their ass. They on Twitter and they be like, da, 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 da. You know what? I just say this, and that's why for me. It's like, what you say too?
I'm gonna say this. All right, number one, Aaron from Uptown though, bro. Aaron from Delta Playground. Yes, he played Northwest Raiders.
Okay.
No, he played Northwest Raiders. He played baseball for Belfield. He lived right on 21st Street, right by Belfield Playground. But I'm gonna see how he. I can say how he got caught up though, naming him with Rakim, KRS One and stuff like that, because they all sound good on the record too.
That's what
like
I'm
Trey
saying.
said.
That's what I'm saying.
They sound good, but you also can quote what they say. But Lloyd Banks, his stuff seemed like it's jumbled together. He might be saying some thorough stuff, but it seemed like it's all smashed together, and he trying to fit it all in. But he sound good doing it. So he got caught up in the sound of it, the octaves and the noise of it. He got caught, but he could not repeat nothing that Lloyd said. I seen an interview, but if you asked him to repeat something Rakim said, he would be able to do it. But the common keyword is Lloyd Banks sound good on certain beats. Like you're like, dang, he killing it. But the minute you turn it off, you can't repeat nothing he's saying. You understand what I'm saying?
You know what? So he sounds like an instrument. He sounds like an instrument. He sounds like an instrument. Exactly.
He go with wherever he rap on.
The wild part, it was Twitter gassing it up, because then Banks responded with something like, "Oh, just because I ain't come when you called, now I ain't good." And my thing is this. At the end of the day, bro, sometimes we gotta sit back and just really look at life. If you compare him, if you saying Rakim, Nas, I mean, I get it. As MCs, it's a competitive sport. You know what I mean? But it's no I don't think you would even really honestly say, yo, I should be up there with those people. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe Lloyd Banks does. I don't know. But to me, it's like, it ain't like, it's not like he was naming you with motherfucking, you know, Vanilla Ice and, you know, people like that. Like, he's naming you with the greatest, but, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. I thank y'all for this show, man. I mean, this is probably the most fun. I've been doing podcasts 3 years, man. This is probably the most fun I had.
Yeah, this is great, man.
Great. Being a this, everybody bringing something different, everybody naming something like, oh, man, I forgot about that. And, oh, man, I forgot about, you know what I mean? And, you know, the good thing is, you know, at the end of the day, anybody watching this now, when you go to Philly, you got your list of cheesesteak spots to go to. You know what I mean? You got to the bar before if you want to cut. You know what I mean? So not that you about Philly hip hop history. You good now when you come to the 215. So if you come for a Sixers game, you know what you gotta do, brothers. I appreciate y'all. This can't be the last time. I gotta get y'all all back again on a regular show. I'll rap with y'all later, man.
Yo, Leak, we gotta get up, boy. We gotta get up, man.
Talk about a lot of stuff because when you got the sneaker line, we're gonna be talking.
We're rap. Yeah.
Indeed.
I'll make sure I connect y'all. I'll connect y'all.
Please do. All right,
y'all.